Courtesy Guardians TV, good guys winning 3-2. Bo Naylor drove in all 3 runs, 2-run double, and a tie-breaking solo home run in the 7th. Guardians get the 3-game sweep. Guardians have won 4 in a row and 10 of their last 12. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
Trading down, getting Mason Graham with the 5th overall pick, just passing on Travis Hunter. I think so much of it was they needed an infusion of young talent. And I think that all links back to the cost of the Deshaun Watson trade. You know, when you go 3 years without a first-round pick, you have a lot to make up for. And it looks like the Browns are starting to do that. I mean, we'll see. Maybe over the next week or two, they get even more help with Quinshon Judkins coming back.
Listen for the MMQB's Albert Breer, Tuesdays at 5:20 on Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
And the punt's blocked. Bojorquez punt blocked at the 35. Ravens pick it up, and they've got it on the Browns 25. Jake Hummel with the block, and Sanusi Kane picked it up. Flacco has it. 4th down. Has time. Flacco, throw it towards the end zone. Incomplete. No, caught. Put him up. Touchdown. It got deflected, and Tillman caught it. Touchdown, Browns. Flacco waiting. Has it. 4-man rush. Flacco now ducks out of a sack, going down, and the ball is out. Ball is out. They say it's a fumble. Roquan Smith going the other way. He's going to go. They didn't blow it dead. For now, that is a Baltimore touchdown. Davius Robinson got to Flacco. Roquan Smith picked it up for the house call. A 63-yard scoop and score. 1st and goal from the 8. Gabriel to throw, looking end zone into the corner. Caught. Sampson touchdown. Rookie to rookie. Happy birthday, Dylan Sampson. What a dime. The Browns offense did not do enough today at all. They didn't. And they lose big, 41-17, to go to 0-2 for the first time in 8 years.
This is Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of the UH Browns Radio Network, your flagship home for Cleveland Browns football, 92.3 The Fan. So this is reality. Welcome to reality. Morning.
Morning, Kenny.
You want to start, or you want me to start, or?
Oh, go ahead.
This is reality. It's, Joe's a nice man. You can leave him out there. I mean, you and I will probably have an argument about the Packers game and whether or not to put Dylan in or whatever. We're just biding time until Dylan's ready. There's nothing offensively. I got no excuses for Kevin Stefanski. They haven't won. They haven't scored over 20 points in how many games now? How far do I got to go?
Yeah, I saw some of the numbers.
Mitch, don't write it into the thing. Just say it in my ear if you hear it, or just say it on the air. I don't care. Just somebody, I don't know how long it's been since they've scored 20 points in a football game. They've lost now 8 in a row. Going back to last year, so they lost their last 6 in a row. And they've now lost 8 in a row, and they looked uncompetitive in the second half. I mean, it was 10-0 at one point. Somebody had said it felt like 50-0, and that's the way it felt. Offensively, it's just terrible, and they're wasting everything defensively. And what will happen here, because I don't know if they're going to get it fixed. I don't think they're going to get anything fixed offensively. You could put in Dylan Gabriel, or you could put in Shador for a different pace, flavor, seasoning, find out whether or not they got it or not, but I don't think anything's going to change. So what's going to happen, and more than likely sooner than later, I would guess by the Vikings game in London, where the defense will start to really turn on the offense and be tired of being put in short field positions, get tired of the turnovers, get tired of going out there and pitching shutouts in your own red zone and still not being able to come out with anything for it. So eventually that's going to happen. Like, I wrote demoralizing yesterday, and people go, well, it's already demoralizing. I'm like, guys, sorry, I meant for them, not for us. We're already demoralized. For them, it's demoralizing. But there's no excuses. There's no defense of Kevin other than, hey, you know what? It's been 6 years. Some things were outside of your power. I think that for whatever reason, you were coach of the year twice and you lost power some way, somehow. I got a general manager who drafts guys who can't catch with hands. They traded for a wide receiver who can give double birds before the game, but somehow can't use all his fingers to catch on a third down. I got other draft picks that have been marginal at best. Couple of good rookies there, but I don't think that's going to be enough to save you. I think that's too little, too late. And the special teams are woefully bad. And because his name's Bubba and he used to play for the Browns, we think it's a good story.
Well, these have got to be some of the worst special teams in the NFL right now, right?
But easily. Like, and by the way, I'm not yelling about Andre Schmidt or anything. And by the way, you didn't hear me go after Bubba Ventrone last week for Andre Schmidt because I'm like, I don't know how much you can do for a kicker, which he had both of his attempts yesterday. 3, right? Because he had 2 extra points in a regular field goal. Good for Andre Schmidt.
With his career on the line. You want to talk about, being able to perform under pressure.
The rest is an abomination. Corey Bajorquez nearly got his leg taken completely off.
I thought he was done for the year.
When
he got rolled up on.
You had to have a touchdown-saving tackle on punt. The special teams have been terrible under Bubba Ventrone. And I would say, you can get rid of him. No, they'll all stay till the end of the year, and they'll all be gone. So this is the reality. It's September 15th. We're already playing out the string. Am I wrong?
It is.
I love to ask you that after these statements.
It is a little early to do that. The problem is...
Is it a little early or is it a lot correct? Because just because it's a little early doesn't mean it's not correct.
Well, listen. I mean, as the losses, continue to mount up, and people tell me, well, the coach and GM have signed extensions; they're not going anywhere.
That doesn't matter,
Anthony. I'm like, I could absolutely see a total house cleaning, and it could happen before the end of the year. But that's so far in the distance. Like they wouldn't do that at 0-5.
Of course, you can get rid of everybody, but the guy over there in San Diego, who knows? We'll probably still pick more of the same, and we'll probably get more of the same.
But as far as like the reality check, like it is unfortunate that to have the Ravens on the road in week 2. Like I see so many fans already saying, all right, we've seen Joe Flacco. Let's move on to the next one. And I'm like, guys, before the season started, we all said the same thing. Like, all right, you match up well against Cincinnati. Baltimore is just Baltimore. It's on the road. They're a team that thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl. And then they're going to throw out all the festivities, although I guess the festivities weren't all that bad for people that were there. It wasn't as big a focus as maybe the media had made it over the last week. Either way, they were running into a buzzsaw.
They did manage to make Zaire Mitchell-Payton a game captain yesterday and try to throw a touchdown to him.
Well, they ran into a buzzsaw. It was the epitome of just a game you were probably never going to win at this stage of your season. You do have you have some fun, plucky rookies that could grow into something, but game 2, they're not going to be anywhere near ready to beat Lamar Jackson and Baltimore. And Joe Flacco, after week 1, I was saying like, you haven't even gotten a bad Joe Flacco interception yet. You actually got a good Joe Flacco in week 1. When is the bad Joe Flacco gonna show itself? And this was the perfect opportunity. He's going up against, veterans, wily guys. Like, I mean, come on. Roquan Smith looked like he was 25 yesterday in that game after looking horrific in the opener against the Bills. Yeah. Joe Flacco, the mobility we know is not going to be there. And this is one team that certainly knows how to pen up an offense like the Browns, our gimmicks and our going heavy. So that's just not going to work against.
So you're just understanding here.
Well, what do you mean? No, I mean...
You're not angry at all.
I should shout really loud. Like, I expected them to get their ass kicked. They got their ass kicked. They're 0-2, and
so
next week they are double digit, or I thought they'd be double digit underdogs. They're like 9. So I expect them to lose again. The schedule was kind of a nightmare at the beginning. I know that you kept saying, well, all the games are hard in the NFL.
Well,
but this is really hard because the Cincinnati game was your chance. And now you're going up against maybe the best team in the NFC or definitely top 3 in the NFC. So they're probably going to lose again, and they're probably going to get blown out at home. But that doesn't change. Like, if you're saying the Browns should, and not you, but like the Browns fans are like, I've seen the end of Flacco. Like, well, I expected Flacco to have trouble in week 2 on the road in Baltimore. Like, this was one of those that I expected it to look kind of like that. So are we just game to game on the kicker, the quarterback, that we're just game to game on every single player?
No, I as far as game to game on the kicker, I think is always in play. Yes. When it comes to Flacco, make your change anytime you want. What's that matter? Am I game to game on Flacco? Is he gonna go out there and play well against the Packers, probably in a loss? And I'm gonna go, well, he played well, so he gets to keep his job another week. No, this is what I'm saying to you. Like, we're in two different places here. What I'm saying to you is this is reality. So make your change whenever they believe Dylan is ready to take the reins of the offense. Then go right on ahead and do it. Like, I was disagreeing with some people who wanted to make the change in the middle of the game yesterday, and I went, no, that's not setting him up for success. That's setting him up for failure. And he came in garbage time, and he played well in garbage time, but it was garbage time. That's nothing I'm going off of. But if you wanted to say on Tuesday, or today, privately, going, hey, we're going to play him on Sunday, if you believe that he's ready to go out there and conduct the offense, please, by all means, go ahead and let him do it.
Yeah, but I'm
not holding on to anything.
Let's think about that. Let's actually take a step back. I know we're all in our emotions today. If you would have told me, on draft night or of night 2 of the draft, hey, we're going to overdraft a quarterback who a lot of people around the league probably think is like a 5th rounder. We're going to overdraft him in the 3rd round, and then things don't go well for Flacco for your starter in week 2, and so you're going to go make the move to Dylan Gabriel. Like, you guys would have been appalled if I would have told you that was a plan. That now we're sitting here thinking is an actual feasible plan.
No, again, I don't know. So I'm going to an answer that I don't know because they wouldn't tell us, and I wouldn't expect them to. It's not Joe. It's Dylan. If Dylan is ready, then play him. If Dylan is not ready, then fine, go put Joe out there.
But ready is one thing. Is he good? Is he a good quarterback? Like,
I don't know.
Like, I'm guessing.
I don't know.
When they took him, I'm like, all right, you're hoping he's a career backup. And so the guy that I was thinking we're hoping is a career backup, we're all ready to start against the Green Bay Packers in week 3. Like, that just seems like a terrible, terrible approach.
It does, but that's what I'm saying. If he's not ready by week 3, then I wouldn't play him. I'd just play Joe. But that's, again, I'm not making don't accuse me of being overly emotional here. I'm trying to be on board here. Now, I'm sure you'll get me worked into a shoot later on. But what I'm pointing out is this. I know I come off ranting and raving because that's how I am. But I'm not trying to be mad. I'm trying to put a method to it. I'm making a judgment on the entire organization right now. But I'm also trying to preserve anything that you might have for the future there. So when it comes to Dylan Gabriel, no, I don't think that Dylan Gabriel is going to save them from drafting a quarterback, number 1 or number 2 in this coming draft in April. I don't believe that. I'm not saying anything based on Shador Sanders. The only thing I'm basing everything on is that if they believe he is ready to conduct the offense, it doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter if he's good. Doesn't matter if he's good. I don't think either one of them are going to end up being overwhelmingly great. I just keep hearing all these things about how Shador is not ready, still not ready. I mean, I got Diana Rossini telling us that he's never going to play this year unless things get haywire, which things are probably going to get haywire, so he probably will play this year. And maybe he'll prove everybody wrong and he'll play well. I don't know if he'll have enough time, and I don't think he'll have enough time to change their plans for the 2026 draft. So that's why I'm like, hey, if the kids ain't ready, then I'll put Joe out there and I'll deal with it. I wish Kevin would shorten some routes because it seemed to be all too easy to start to just let them have David Njoku and Harold Fannin. And when they wanted to go deep, nobody could get open. I mean, he's rolling left, rolling right. Man, he looked really hobbly and old yesterday. Rolling left and rolling right on boot. Man, he looked fresh in week 1. And then, man, yeah, there's some, I don't know if it's a solenoid. I don't know what it is, but boy, that truck is getting old real quick.
Or is it they
couldn't find anybody?
Yeah, they played the Bengals in week 1, and they just don't have.
The Bengals defense is worse than what the Ravens is.
They are so slow.
Yes.
They don't have any talent defensively outside of Trey.
Probably.
And Baltimore is a different animal completely. So this is, I guess that's why, that's just why I said, that was probably 41-17. And by the way, Lamar Jackson was off. His first 7 throws, when he had a clean pocket,
wasn't very good.
He was off. I mean,
very good.
That game should have been over probably in the second quarter. We were very fortunate that he wasn't even close to hitting his guys.
What I'm saying is we're going to be asked all day, and we're going to ask all day, do we need to make a QB change? And what I'm saying is I'm open to it as long as he's ready to go. I'm on, and I said this before the season, Tone, I'm on Dylan's clock, not Joe's. If Dillon isn't ready, then I'm just going to put that 40-year-old man out there again and see if we can hand the ball off and give more carries to Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson and try to shorten these routes, and I guess we'll try to win these games 17. I can't expect them to score over 20 points. That's asking way too much. But I'll try to win these games 17-13 if we can. And try not to turn the ball over, even though they turn the ball over like crazy.
And yeah, you saw the formula again in the first quarter. It's very, very similar to the Cincinnati plan of attack. Let's keep the ball out of the hands of the other quarterback. Let's try to shorten this game. It's just against Baltimore that's so tough because it's like a ticking time bomb, especially when they're at home. They're eventually going to turn you over, and eventually Lamar Jackson is going to get through.
But I can't stress this enough. While that's there, like I can't. There's no more poor Kevin. I don't know if there was ever a poor Andrew. Again, the rest of the staff, it is what it is. Sorry. I got nothing. And what's the point to do any of that? Like, we all know where this is going. I don't think that they're going to get let go during the year. But I think at the end of the year, yeah, you're going to be looking at a new head coach. You're probably going to be looking at a new general manager. Yeah. Because you're going to need a new flavor. Because this is, right now, it seems like that would be premature. But I think we all know where this is going. And it's probably going to go to a not positive place. And by the time it gets to the absolute negativity, it may just be time for a change for everybody. 216-474-0092. Well, do we need to make a change of quarterback? I'm not saying yes unless Dillon's ready. I don't know if Dillon's ready.
I'm just telling you,
impossible thing
if
to
Dillon
answer.
Gabriel were to start week 3, that game would be over by halftime, is my guess.
216.
And maybe it would be with Flacco too, but I can tell you with Dillon Gabriel, it's not even a game that if you have second half plans, you could probably get to him.
216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Toadmaster General. It's another wonderful Monday on The Fan. Peter and Company Jewelers in Avon Lake, peterjewelers.com. It will be.
to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 923thefan.com.
I mean, at the end of the day, they don't score, they don't win. We have to continue to hold them to 3 points or 0 points whenever we can. No matter if it's back up short field, red zone, we have to hold ourselves to that standard. And we would love for them to put up 6 or 7 every time they touch the ball, but realistically, that's just not going to be the case. That's not going to happen on any team. So we got to make up for that whenever we can. We got to take the ball away, which we didn't do.
That's Myles Garrett. I'm not going to fight you over your opinions. I would like to have... Well, actually, I do fight you over your opinions all the time. You didn't think they were going to win before the game. You didn't talk yourself into thinking they were going to win before the game. Maybe I'm going through... Am I going through a crisis on my own? I can't call it a crisis. I remember before the season, like I said, I think they can win 6 games. And it was like, man, where are they going to find 6 wins on that schedule? And then, honestly, I started reacting to the people the week before the season because I forget what the hell we were getting into the week before the season. It's been a couple of weeks. It feels like it was last year. And there were some people who wanted us to do like a pep rally. And I started to kind of believe, and I did. I went to 8 wins, and so maybe I should feel embarrassed. I'm not sure, but damn it, Tone, I think I'm trying not to get loud, and I'm trying not to get mad. My voice is, my wife got me sick over the week. I think I should expect professionals to at least be able to play with other professionals. They're all getting paid out there. It wasn't like it was a high school team going up against the Ravens. And so for you to just lay down and get I don't know if they laid down just to get boat raced like that. Yeah, somebody. Yeah, it's going to happen more and more. Somebody's going to have to pay for that.
I don't think it's a laying down. I didn't
think they laid down. They're just not good.
I think once, first of all, the special teams,
at least offensively,
even if they were close to Baltimore, your special teams would have lost you the game. So even if you had been moving the football, and even if your defense was able, to continue the dominance they had in the first quarter throughout the game, you still lose the game because your special teams stinks. So that's the sobering part of all of this. Think of how well you have to play to overcome bad special teams and then Joe Flacco turning the ball over.
Lima Lake's coming up at 6:43. Yeah, it's special teams was terrible. Offense is terrible. And I just think it's going to get worse because I think the offense is still going to sputter. I don't think rookies are going to make it any better. But again, I'm into, hey, if Kevin really believes that he's ready to go, fine, go ahead and play him. I don't care who's on the schedule. It doesn't matter to me. They're all pros to me. My quarterback is playing in college right now. I mean, let's just call it what it is for Christ's sake. And let's not lie to each other on this. All right? I want Dylan Gabriel to be ready whenever he plays, but I don't care who's out there. I know Green Bay's defense, they're a bunch of boogity men. Yeah, they're real good. They're real good. But he could go out there and suck up the room against Detroit or New Orleans or whoever else you want to march out there because they're all professionals. So to me, the difference is really negligible. So if you wanted to put out Joe because you don't think that he's ready to take on Green Bay, fine, put out Joe because he's not ready to take out Green Bay. But at some point, you're going to get to those guys because what this is turning into is a giant formality. It's a giant 5-month formality of we're paying attention to our draft stock. We're paying attention to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like that I saw the clip of Trevor Lawrence and his new head coach, Leah Cohen, getting into it. I go, okay, got that going for me. They still found a way to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals, so I was happy about that. That's where my headspace is going because now I'm looking at rookies going, okay, the rookies are fine. I can't trust Andrew to pick new rookies, so, that's what it says about that. I don't know if I don't think I can really trust Kevin at the end of this season to move forward, so that's what that says about that. So we got a lot of work to do this coming winter. So now it's just how many more games are there? There's 15 more. Oh my God. So it's a 15-game formality. And figuring out who's who can, who can't. You know what? You'll probably win a couple of those games. Miami's on that schedule. New Orleans is on that schedule, like I said. San Francisco's 2-0, so you can't just take them as easy pickings anymore. We'll see what Tennessee is by the end of it, but I would give you the head coaching advantage in that one. So you'll win a few games, and I'll see you at the draft next year. And all I'm hoping is that one of these other guys ends up finishing up the season pretty nice because I'm going to have to talk myself into one of them. And then we'll start this process all over again. Hate to tell you, bud. Hate to tell you. So you might as well just get comfortable because that's where it is. So you want to play Dylan Gabriel? You don't want to play Dylan Gabriel? I'll listen to either or. If he's ready to go, fine. Stick him in against Green Bay. Only if they think he's ready to go.
I I couldn't get a sense of whether you agreed with me or disagreed with me about the whole Kenny Pickett thing, but I still come back to thinking Kenny Pickett was probably the plan. And that shows you where they're at. If your plan was either Kenny Pickett or... Well,
how could I deny you?
It might have been Kirk Cousins, really, first. But when they couldn't get Kirk Cousins...
How could I deny you? How could I deny it? If there's that many people telling me it's that way that are close to the team, how can I deny that I agree with you? I have to agree with you that Kenny Pickett was probably the plan. But he didn't take any of the snaps. Ended up being Joe, and then you had two other young rookies, and so they figured, well, I guess we're just going to keep the rookies. We can get a fifth-rounder back for Kenny Pickett. Where apparently, I guess, it was champion's post for Andrew Berry, some way, somehow, for getting a fifth for a fifth for a fifth. Some way. I don't know. That's where we're at. So you don't want to make a move yet, though?
I wouldn't yet.
No. Okay.
But in the end, like if you told me that Dylan Gabriel was starting this week, I'd give the Browns next to no chance. I mean, with Flacco, it's going to be tough.
Do you give him a chance with Joe Flacco?
Yeah, I still think
give him much more of a chance with Joe Flacco? I
still think Flacco's better than Gabriel, but everyone's going to say
more ready.
Everyone's going to do what fans always do, which is, well, we haven't seen the rookie yet in a real game and in real competition, so they're going to hold out hope. And I just don't have any hope for Dylan Gabriel.
216-474-0092. Kevin in Georgia. Hello.
Sure, well, we can put Dylan Gabriel out there and ruin his career like we've ruined so many other promising quarterbacks. There's only one reason why this team is where it is, and his name is Andrew Berry. He came in and destroyed this team with the Deshaun Watson trade, and unfortunately, we had a quarterback that could play in a team that looked like it had a future, and he decided to take a sledgehammer to that thing. If it was really Jimmy Haslam that put him up to that, he should have resigned, because he should have known that trade would destroy his career. I would hope that he never gets another job in the NFL, because based off of this body of work, he is an incompetent moron and should never be allowed to destroy another team the way he has destroyed this one.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, as much as I'm not defending what he's done with this team at all, Kevin, when I say this to you. He will get another job. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who think that he's a genius. There's plenty of people in the NFL that think he's a genius. I mean, it's the same thing with Kevin.
Based on what?
Kevin, hey, buddy, I wish I could tell you. I'm just giving you the facts of the matter here. It's the same thing. Kevin will be an offensive coordinator next year. I'm just telling you how it goes.
Kevin Stefanski, he can't coach players he doesn't have. Andrew Berry has given him nothing. We could put any quarterback back there, former or current, and it would make very little difference. Maybe you win a game or two, but it's not going to make a world of difference, because Andrew Berry has failed at a level that is so inconceivable you can't even understand why he got hired in the first place, except for the fact that Jimmy Haslam is such an arrogant fool that he has no ability to send out and find people that will do a good job for his team.
Well, Kevin, at least we've only just begun. Thank you very much for the call. 216-474-0092.
Who are all the young quarterbacks we ruined? How many of the young quarterbacks? Well, that's what he said. He started off the call and said, "Oh, we're going to ruin
Brady
Dylan
Quinn will
Gabriel."
Definitely say you ruined him.
Sure, but
Brady will.
Do we
accuse you? Johnny Manziel does it on a podcast like once a week. So
yeah, I don't know.
Not a great example.
Longitude and latitude.
Yeah, not a great example.
Somebody could write out a list, tweet it at me, email it at me, or comment in hot button, whatever. Tell me the list of quarterbacks that we ruined.
Are we doing coming in hot this Friday? That's a TBD deal right there. Mike in Atlanta, Georgia. He's listening on the free Odyssey app. He's next up on the Fan.
Yeah, my thoughts on Flacco. Just guys playing like he's looking over his shoulder. I'm like, dude, you're 40 years old. Just let it go. At least throw a ball down the field, get a PI or something. I've never seen so many checkdowns with this guy.
Well, he tried to do that, and then he threw an interception and nearly got returned for a touchdown.
Well, he
did that once
on the run.
Yeah, he did that once.
Terrible. He had one nice ball
because he knew it. I mean, there was a pressure where like he knew it, and he's rolling out, and he knows that they got good field position at the time of the intercept. That was a Nate Wiggins pick, and he knew they had good field position, and I think he was frustrated, didn't want to waste it, and then he ended up wasting it because he threw a pick along the far sidelines, and Nate Wiggins almost took it in.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
Not good, man.
Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad, and I don't see it getting any better anytime soon, Mike. Thank you very much for the call.
Russ Tucker was adamant on the call. We'll get the all-22, and I don't think it's going to look much better. But Russ Tucker was adamant that your receivers cannot get open. It's like they are not getting open.
They can't. I said that at the beginning. I said it. Oh, go back over the opening statement. I totally agreed with Ross. You had long routes, and the Ravens were willing to let you settle for David Njoku and willing to let you settle for Harold Fannin. Jerry Jeudy was not much of a concern whatsoever. And Cedric Tillman can't hold on to the ball. Neither can Jerry. But neither of our wide receivers can really hold on to the ball. The guy who's a veteran who's supposed to be able to throw catchable balls, they can't catch. Cedric Tillman, another third-round wide receiver that Andrew Berry can't get right. I'll give him credit, at least he goes for the ball, because he also drafted Anthony Schwartz, who alligator-armed it, that led us on this entire primrose path that we're to right now, which was still Andrew's pick. So either way we want to slice it, sorry, bud. Someone's paying the fiddler here. 216-474-0092. You got a Lima likes over there?
I do.
You got anything you like?
I do. Let's give it up for the baseball team that had themselves a sensational season-saving weekend.
That's true.
There is plenty to be excited about that. And once and for all, the Tush push, last night could have been the worst day yet.
All right. And do we need to make a change at quarterback? And, I'm starting to pick up a feeling. I got to ask people at 7, is it really not that big of a deal to lose to Baltimore? Because I'm not getting it from you, and I'm really not getting it from the people calling in right now. 216-474-0092. Lima likes in 5 minutes on the Fan. Daisy Dips.
you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Does Lima like or does Lima no like? Like?
Tell me likey. I'm liking it.
I like it a lot. No like.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like you either.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Like or no like. Like or no like.
But I definitely knew what I liked, and I definitely knew what I didn't like.
All right, well, we got to start out with the positives since the first 40 minutes. Not all that great. Ladies and gentlemen, your Cleveland Guardians, with 13 left, they are 2.5 out of the wild card.
Correct.
And the division,
6.5.
6.5 with all those head-to-heads still left with Detroit. Folks, the Guardians, how we feeling about a playoff in October to remember? Is it going to happen?
I'm getting a stealing feeling that, yeah, why not? I don't want to turn it into, well, what else do you have to hope for? You might as well hope for it. But no, I want a legitimate reason. I want to give you legitimate reasons. The pitching has been there. Rocchio's playing like Rocchio would at hot times.
How'd you like that play at the end of the game?
It was as good as I think anybody has ever seen.
I like Guardians baseball.
There were a lot of people. I had people who were texting me right after the Browns game about that play. There was exciting times for everybody involved.
Guys,
so,
me and the beatboxes, we did our work this weekend at the ballpark.
No, you
didn't. Good time. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It was a good time.
I might have
had
seen
a great time on Saturday.
I think you documented that on social media.
I did.
You had more beatboxes?
Do you want to play that audio?
Oh, the post-game beatbox audio? You can play it later.
I would like to play that later.
We might have
I did not realize that.
I said they're going to win the division. Now they have to. The problem is they can't even go 4-2 against Detroit in this. They have to go. They have to sweep them twice, which sucks. But even 4-2 only gives you a 2-game jump. It only chips 2 games off that 6.5 right now.
Yeah.
So
that's why I don't really think the division's in play. But 2.5 back of the wild card.
The division's in play. There's a difference between are they going to win it or not, or is it in play? It's absolutely in play. I've been saying it since the All-Star break. You had to look at the schedule. The schedule is lining up the way that the schedule was supposed to line up. They played a really tough schedule to start the season. They have had a much better second half. And not only that, the White Sox, who are bad and you just swept, they've had a better second half than the Tigers. So,
holy cow.
It's there, guys. It's the opportunities available, and you might have the horses to do it, but it's going to be really hard to do.
How many did they win in a row coming into Friday? They had won like 7 in a row or something like that coming into Friday, the White Sox did. So they're still a bad team, but they were a streaking team. Owen's right.
Lima lies.
And how about the performance of Tanner Bybee? I didn't want to go the segment without mentioning what he did. And I know, again, it was the White Sox, but going 9, giving up 2 hits in that performance. And we know if they're going to have any success down the stretch here or in the postseason, it helps to have a pitcher perform like a real ace. And we haven't had that all year. And Bybee has not been that all year. But that performance against the White Sox, that looked like an ace-like performance.
I'm sure
better
it was
late
written.
than never, maybe.
When's the last time you saw someone go complete? Did it happen all year before this?
I thought we had one other one, but we hadn't had a complete game shutout in a while.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The
I think we had like one. But no, I was riding around with my buddy Ed on Friday night. We were working and doing high school football. Sorry.
Cruising.
Just couple guys
Friday night, yeah.
Cruising on a Friday night.
Painting the town
me
red.
And my buddy Ed, man. And I'm going, I don't remember last time they had a complete game, damn it. Okay. Yeah, it's a hell of an outing. Go ahead, Tone.
Lima likes.
I got to tell you, if this is the push that we need to get rid of the Tush push and get more national attention, I thought the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship game, I should say, last year would have helped. But yesterday, during that boring snooze fest of a game between Patrick Mahomes and the Philadelphia Eagles in a rematch of the Super Bowl, it seemed like Dean Blandino has had enough.
I am done with the tush push, guys. It's a hard play to officiate like we've been talking about. So they either ruled progress or that Hurts was down. Really hard to see what's happening with the football. We're inside 2, so replay has looked at this, and they've determined that there was no fumble.
And I got to tell you, watching
that
this
was
game,
after the last one. There were 3 of them there at the end of the game that were...
There were a bunch of them.
Controversial.
And so a couple things are happening here. We always thought, if there are injuries, that's gonna be the end of this play. It's not injuries. It's the combination of unwatchability and the inability to officiate it. So the officials have no idea if the ball is ever crossing the plane because they can't see because the guys are bunched up so fast. That's number one. Number two, now, and you can tell by this camera angle that they were showing.
Yes, they have. Apparently, they've implanted a camera underneath the ground now.
Any number
like
between
NASCAR.
3 and 9 players are either offsides, in the neutral zone, or false starts.
It's a lot.
Or lined up. You don't have offensive linemen on the line of scrimmage like they're supposed to have. Then it's an illegal formation. I mean, it's. And I'm trying to not be the pouty Chiefs fan about this thing. I'd like to go back to the other thing you said before this, too.
Well, so Blandino's deal is what's the legitimate part of it. The concussions thing or the injury thing, I thought that they were going to use that as a scapegoat because of the unwatchability part of it, because it doesn't seem fair. But the legislation of it or the being able to enforce any rules of it, that's where I think there's a legitimate, like, finally I found some legitimacy hearing Dean Blandino talk about, it's like, I can't officiate it. You don't know where it is.
Yeah, the
you got a bunch of
referees
guys
have
who
a union, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, they have to go back and look at this today or last night or whenever they review everything and go, oh, wait, we missed a lot of stuff there. And if they continue to miss on it, because got to do something.
Exactly. If you can't enforce any rules on it, really, then it seems like it would be an unfair advantage. That would be what gets it banned.
And, credit to the Eagles for being so dominant with the play. So, part of me is like, oh, man, they're just better at it than everybody else. Like, the Bills wish they would have had this last year in their playoff game. They couldn't get a yard. But when you can't officiate it, and I got to say, it's a slog to watch. I know it's...
Well, you think anything that doesn't score 35 points a game is
what
bad
I
game.
I know last week...
You said it last week about the Browns game and now this game.
Ken went after me because I just don't understand football enough because I can't appreciate this. Do you guys feel like this is football or is this rugby?
Yeah, I enjoyed the game.
Football is a part of rugby.
Which game did you enjoy?
It's born from rugby.
Well, not the Browns game, obviously. The Chiefs and the Eagles. I enjoyed that.
I thought that was a snooze fest.
There was a lot of defense played in that game. You just hate defense.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a fine line. I think football guy. I think there is a fine line that we always just assume that bad offense is good defense. Like I just at no point did I find that game entertaining, and that was your big 4:00 window game, your feature game. And I think America agreed with me, by the way, because a lot of moaning. It's a lot of moaning.
Well, I don't think America is a bunch of football guys, and I think that they don't know it.
America
and I think
is
that
a bunch of guys that think they're football guys and aren't football guys.
Boom. Owen's right.
Meanwhile, finally, hey, this could have been something we're tracking all year. Not only did Jacksonville lose, and we, of course, hold their first-round pick. You guys been watching Travis Hunter, who, God, 2 weeks before the draft, there was a faction of the Browns fan base that thought he was the best wide receiver in all of football and the best corner in all of football. And he is neither so far of the rookie class.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah. Well, there hasn't been anything to see. Offensively, he did have 6 catches, 33 yards, was targeted 8 times, but it was a lot of underneath stuff. And he had 43 defensive snaps. So
that's a flip from last week, because I think he had the same amount of touches on offense week 1, but it was he had 46 offensive snaps week 1 and like 6 defensive. So depends if you play him even weeks or odd weeks, which
he got flagged for pass interference twice and victimized in a big way on a critical 25-yard defensive pass interference with less than 2 minutes in the fourth. Now, I think, unfortunately for him, did not look like much of a pass interference, but he got flagged twice in this game, and he has been a non-factor on both ends of the football. It's early. I'm not like writing him off or anything, but hey, Mason Graham at times, especially early on, looked really good for the Browns. They traded down, and right now Mason Graham's a better football player than Travis Hunter, and they got a first-round pick out of it. I know it's early. I know it's kind of silly.
You're putting a tally in the Andrew Berry positive.
But I got to say, Andrew Berry's looking pretty damn good. If he's trying to save his job, that might have been the route to do it.
I much more trust Andrew Berry with almost any other position other than wide receiver. So, yeah, I guess I'll give him that little win. Yeah.
I think Elijah Moore had a touchdown yesterday, by the way, too.
He did.
They lined him up. Yeah, they lined him up.
Good for him.
Something the Browns could not do with Elijah Moore, but he got in the end zone yesterday for Buffalo. That's it for Lima Lakes.
Daryl Ryder coming up at 8:20 this morning, where I think I smell a disagreement between Tone and Daryl coming up at 8:20 this morning. Coming up in 5 minutes, guys. If you don't care, then why the hell should I? Because I get a lot of, what were you expecting, Ken? I expected pros to act like pros. Ken Carman, Anthony Lyman, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. And I expect you to have a restful night's sleep.
all 3 runs, 2-run double, tie-breaking solo home run in the 7th. Guardians get the 3-game sweep. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone during the regular season by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All the Browns and NFL news you may have missed at work. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
So I'm picking up a sense right now that I shouldn't make a big deal about this loss. 216-474-0092. That this was expected. I shouldn't be that upset. And I'm going, man, Lima does not give a bleep. You don't seem to care. And I'm like, man, they're professionals. Like, if I can't get mad at them for...
Well, that's fine.
You know what?
Okay, the league is full of professionals, but you don't look at, when you look at other teams around the NFL and you see a team that's double-digit underdogs going on the road and they get housed, like, you don't sit there and go, oh, is there all sorts of... It's like, no, we expected that. We expected that. And so here in Cleveland, I know you gave the pump-up speech this week. Got everybody.
You wanted me to. You told me to do it.
I know.
And it was all for a show. I admitted it before and after.
And by the way, was Kevin Stefanski able to give any kind of a rah-rah speech before the game? And I know it's football. It's not going to be determined who gave the better speeches before the game. But in the end, I mean, let's be honest. You knew they were going to lose.
I knew they were going to lose.
Probably
I said
that
they were going to lose.
Yeah, you knew
I wasn't surprised by it.
You knew they were probably going to get blown out.
But Anthony,
they got blown out. There is a massive talent advantage with Baltimore over us. That wasn't the case with Cincinnati. In fact, I think now we've seen Cincinnati twice, and we'll talk about the Joe Burrow thing. We have all week to do that. But in the end, like this is what this year was always going to be about: seeing a bunch of rookies, seeing young guys, and trying to figure out when it makes sense to hand the reins over to either Dillon Gabriel or Shador. And even in that case, you're going to be big underdogs all year.
I understand that. I totally see where you're coming from there.
Like, I'm not going to lie about how I thought this season would go.
Did you
just to make people think we had more of a shot than we did?
Did you believe that the highest paid player on our defense was going to be saying bleeps embarrassing after the Week 2 game? Did you see that one coming there, Nostradamus?
It's a little early, but is it shocking? I don't think it's shocking. I don't.
Go ahead.
It's embarrassing. We got to be better on defense. We got to be better as a team. And slowly chipped away. We did a solid job holding it to 3 when we could. And then eventually the dam broke, and then they just did whatever they wanted. And we have to continue to play a 60-minute game.
You can't tell me you're not a little bit surprised that the defensive end said bleeps embarrassing after the game?
Wait, the same guy that for a week and a half told everybody how bad of a situation the football team is, and the fact that it looks hopeless. I mean, I'm supposed to be shocked and stunned that in Week 2 when they get blown out on the road.
Did he lie to you that it was embarrassing, though? It's not embarrassing? Do you believe it's not embarrassing? Losing 41-17.
Yeah, sure. Getting blown out sucks. It's
okay.
Always embarrassing, but it's the least surprising thing that happened in the NFL over the weekend.
So what I'm telling you is that if we were in another city, I would say what they've done, it's not working. You know what? Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would just fall in line with everybody else and say, Andrew Berry's really good. Kevin Stefanski's really good. The coaching staff, even though somehow the guy that picks the players that aren't as good as the other team, like not even in the same stratosphere as a competitive team, somehow that guy is really, really good, and the guy who coaches him... No, I couldn't do it. I would look at this and go, this is an untenable situation. And either during the season, they're going to get rid of these guys, or after the season, they're going to get rid of these guys. But you can see it right now. Like, this can't be sustainable. You cannot carry this in. It's Week 2. I can't carry this into 2026, guys. I'm sorry. There's nothing else that can be done. So I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope that the young guys come to fruition and there's no changes that need to be made.
But wait a second.
But damn it, like, this is not sustainable. This is not. I mean, look at the apathy within your fan base. I mean, you're the one who keeps bringing up the empty seats and everything like that. You're going to run that back in 2026. No, wait. You're going to put them in charge for 2026 as well? Like, I'm sorry. You can't do it because I can't make an argument for them. What's my argument? These are people I like. I like them. What argument can I make? There's plenty of people who I like that where you've run its course. It's run its course. It's come to its end. What argument? Give me an argument I can make to tell everybody that this is going to be okay going into 2026. Because all this is, if it's the NFL Shave Gel, Edge NFL Shave Gel yearbook, all it's called is the formality right now.
Yeah, I mean, they went into last year, right, with us all understanding by looking at all the bloated contracts, the veterans, but then also what they were going to try to do and pivot with bringing in, and they might have brought in a lot of talented players in the draft. I mean, Fan looks good. Mason Graham looks good. You know, it's the start of a new era of the Browns, but you're in this weird purgatory of, I don't know, purgatory is not the right word.
And who's caused the purgatory?
You're just in a weird spot where you've got two different timelines because you've got this old and aging offensive line. You got a 40-some-year-old quarterback.
Yeah.
This wasn't even the quarterback they really wanted. It was supposed to be Kenny Pickett, most likely, but then he injures the hamstring, so he's not really a competition.
Which I got to tell you, I go back to what you said, and I don't even disagree with you on it, but if they really like Kenny Pickett that bad, then they should have just held on to Kenny Pickett. They should have just really rolled in with 4 and should have held on to Kenny. I mean, I'm serious. If we were planning on saving everything and saving jobs, quote unquote, why do they even get rid of Kenny Pickett for a 5th-round pick? For a 5th-round pick, like, yeah, I know their currency, and it's going to be a nice 5th-round pick, probably for somebody else to use next year that isn't going to be these guys. Because right now, we are putting ourselves in a position to make arguments for QBs that we know are not ready to play yet. We know it. Guys, you know that. Like, I had a bunch of people, Kenny, it's time to, I had a guy I was going back and forth with, and I was trying to be respectful about it. And I just had to tell him, I go, buddy, you're frustrated. You're frustrated because you know they're not going to win this game. You know that they're not competitive with this team, and they weren't in the second half. They really weren't even in the first half. Just the dam hadn't caved in yet. And they're not competitive with this team, and they're not going to be competitive with this team. And I don't know when they're ever going to be, because we got to get that figured out with the biggest position possible, and that's down the line. So we're frustrated, and so we just want something we can cling to, because this guy's at the end of his career. Joe is. And he's had a fine career. I have a lot of respect for him, but whatever. And you want to put in somebody new, and you're going to get even worse results. So now we're just waiting to put guys in, or we want to get excited for something that we know. Guys, you know it in the back of your mind. You know it. If they were to go ahead and they were to start him coming up on Sunday, you know you're going to be shaken. You're going to go, oh, my God. By the third quarter, it's going to look like he's not ready to play whatsoever, and why did they ever draft him? And it would just be another thing for us to argue about a guy who's probably going to be gone at the end of the year anyway. Talking about Andrew. Like, this is just untenable. There's no other way around it, Anthony.
Well, and then what you can't have your special teams look like one of the worst units in the league, because that will make these games even look so much worse. And, I mean, your punter was limping through the rest of the game.
Because he got bashed.
Hey, at least the kicker actually made his kicks, which is a lot better than what we saw in week 1. But your coverage is terrible on special teams. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And those are the things we don't spend all week talking about, because let's be honest, we don't really know how to talk about special teams other than hoping you have the right punter and kicker. But when it comes to coverages, man, you're supposed to trust there's no reason why any team in the NFL can't have good special teams coverage. That's coaching. Like, that is at the heart of coaching. It's not like certain teams have this massive talent advantage in coverage units. And when you look at how we have covered in the first 2 games of the year, that is coaching. And that's the one thing. Like, if you're asking me what could you do, I mean, you could give Bubba Ventrone the pink slip, like, right now. I know that'll look hollow, like, oh, the Browns are 0-2. They fired the special teams coach.
It's like firing a hitting coach.
But is that not one area of a team that a different special teams coach could come in and help out a lot?
Yeah, I mean, Tone, I would totally agree with you on that, but it just seems like we are just on this slog to January already where things are going to go poorly, because now you're telling me, like, again, and I don't disagree with you with what you're telling me here, that Dillon isn't ready to go in against Green Bay. But, I mean, good God. I mean, we're talking about us not even having anything to keep up with teams that are on this schedule right now, just coming up here in the first month of the season. And I've had the same group in charge here really for 6 years, and we've done that. No, it's come to an end. And so the only thing I would think of is that you're going to play out the string for this year. Hopefully, Mason Graham and Carson Swessinger and Quinshawn Judkins. And that's another thing that made me feel a little bit worse, and I'll tell you that here in a second. The Mason Graham and those guys, they end up playing well. And that we have something to put around a young quarterback that's going to make us feel better, because then I'm going to have a lump in my throat because that guy's going to start week 1 next year. And he's in college right now, whoever that guy may be. And I started feeling worse about Quinshon Judkins because I thought they used him a little bit more. Now, the fourth quarter, there was garbage time, but I felt that they were using him a little bit more than anything we had talked about in the pregame. It's like, you get less than a handful of carries, just get the wind up going a little bit. It's like, no, they're using him out of the backfield, and they're because they don't have anybody.
I was going to say,
because they don't have anybody.
Like Ross Tucker could not believe, knowing the NFL the way he does, that a guy that was not at training camp could in week 2 become your bell cow running back.
Because they ain't got
That's
nobody.
unheard of in the NFL.
Because they ain't got nothing else. And that's how little talent they have on their offense right now. So they're going to use Quinshon Judkins, who is exactly what you just said, is coming in basically off the street as a second-round pick and is going to get the bulk of the carries and is now going to be the bulk of the offense because they ain't got nothing else. And whose fault is that, Anthony? It's the general manager's fault. It's the general manager's fault. There is nothing at all that gives me confidence moving forward. I hope and pray that it's different in the future this season. There's nothing that tells me it's going to be. So I have to continue to be strident about this so everybody gets the message that this can't be continued unless they actually go out there and they earn it and they start winning some football games. But I don't know how they're going to do it. They have 1/3 of a football team that could win football games. Unless Denzel Ward's actually hurt and it wasn't just cramps. Did we get a clarification from Kevin yesterday?
That'd be a disaster.
They said cramps yesterday in the postgame.
Yeah, so if Denzel's hurt,
by the way,
then I start to have to retract that statement. But you have 1/3 of a football team that can win right now. They ain't going to win. Not in the NFL. Yes.
Was it the hottest day on record yesterday, apparently, in Baltimore?
Honestly, I don't.
Well, it was the hottest 80-degree day.
When it comes to that, I'm not trying to make you look bad. I just don't touch that stuff because I don't know the science behind it.
Well,
so
I don't
I'm
care.
not gonna...
You can make me look bad all you want, but when your offensive lineman that you're depending on has to leave the game because it's too hot and it was like 75 and sunny, that doesn't bode well.
I don't know what the conditioning situation is. I'm not sure. I know he lost a bunch of weight. I have no idea. And I obviously the league is sensitive to that for things that happened when you and I were younger. So I'm just gonna hope that they're able to get him conditioned and ready to go. Because I don't want it. I thought he might be hurt. I was like, man, he wasn't playing bad.
Yeah, we were wondering
I had my eyes on him the whole time. I was like, watch. I write it down. I go 94, 79, and then fill in the blanks as you go throughout the week about watching other guys. That's honestly how I do it. And I'm watching him and go, why did he come on? I didn't think he was bad. Is he hurt? God, tell me he's not hurt. And then we found out about the heat. So, am I wrong to care as much as I'm caring? Was it really not that big a deal to you to lose to Baltimore? Because Lima's like, nah, 0-2. And he's looking, I mean, we're all kind of expecting 0-3 here shortly. 216-474-0092. All you guys coming up, that's a promise. And this was a plant. This was a plant in Baltimore. You saw it early in the game. You saw it later in the game. Absolutely a plant. Who is the plant? We'll tell you next on The Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for Fanatics Sportsbook.
sacked and then lost a fumble, which was taken back for a score. Guardians top the White Sox 3-2. Bo Naylor drove in all 3 runs, 2-run double, tie-breaking solo home run in the 7th. Guardians get the 3-game sweep. Can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
About last night, 7:45, where eventually I think we'll kind of luck into the quarterback situation. I mean, maybe not. Maybe this is just my lot in life. Which, by the way, I think there is a curse. I just think it's named after the wrong person. Got to get this off my chest. We call it the curse. You've called it for so many years the curse of Art Modell. It's not the curse of Art Modell. It's definitely the curse of Al Lerner. I saw the statue that Daryl took a picture of. I go, it's the curse of Al Lerner. 100%. And I don't know when it's going to get lifted. Hopefully, it'll get lifted by 2029. Hopefully, when they build the new place and they name it Ed Orcutt Way, whatever you want to name the street, name it Anthony Lima Boulevard. Name it whatever you want to. But my God, I don't know what it's going to be, because I sat there. There was a lot of history being talked about last week. Myself, obviously, I love history, and even though I don't like talking about that, it's still a look back into the past and the way things were in the 1990s. And I go, yeah, there's something. When this team moves to Brook Park, that needs to be left in the past. You know, that we don't know. Not a lot of people remember the name Mickey McBride. It's an old name. Not a lot of people do. He's the original founder of the Browns. Not a lot of people know it. We can just move on from Al Lerner and go into the great future, and hopefully it'll be great, but go on into the future and figure out what's what at that.
Be a nice cleanse.
Because I can't. Something, we got to get away from it, because I just don't want to be that petty and that angry all the time for the 35th celebration or for the 40th celebration. Like, something has to get better. But it ain't going to get better this year, it seems. Which, by the way, you also had a theory for everybody. The guy with the bag on his head was absolutely a plant. Let's call it what it is.
Okay. I saw that. It was way too early in the game. It was actually because I thought, they were down 10-0. They were actually down 9-0. It was before the extra point.
I thought the same thing you did. I'm glad we thought together.
Yeah, Kenny. It was just too quick. Like, camera's on me. Put on. Like, it was orchestrated with the network.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, camera is on me. My team just did something bad, and here comes the bag.
You think it was a CBS employee or something like that?
Why? And maybe we got to talk to
Just wait for a second.
Reckless speculation.
Okay. Maybe we got to talk to like Pumpkinhead or something, because
I'm not gonna go that
there's
far.
certain fans that know. All right. Kind of like, all right, hand signals with the camera. The camera's on me. Now I've got to perform.
Yes.
It's a big stadium, right? Where was that dude sitting? How did he know he was going to be on camera? He was wearing a Browns jersey. Do we know what Browns jersey it was? And then immediately put the bag on his head.
See, this is where I totally believe you. I totally believe you. Is
that a 19?
That is, no, that's a 10, and that's an old Browns jersey. That's a Brady Quinn number 10 jersey.
Okay.
So that's a thrifted Browns jersey that this guy got. I guarantee this is a Ravens fan. I'm not going to say it was a CBS guy. I guarantee this is a Ravens fan.
Well, so he's probably...
This is not a real Browns fan.
This fan is probably sitting in the front row.
He's sitting by himself. Where are the other Browns fans around him? Are there other Browns fans around him?
I didn't see any.
I didn't see any either. There's a bunch of... So what, did he go by himself?
And this is 11 minutes to go in the second quarter, and he's already got the bag ready to roll? And he did very little. He did very little to this bag.
All right. I'm watching the replay. I'm watching the replay right now. The pick. Hold on. Now. Nate Wiggins is running back. He's to the 50. Am I allowed to do old play-by-play?
Yeah, you're fine.
30 beats Wyatt Teller. Wyatt Teller on his ass. Joe Matonio on his ass. But he's able to save the day with a Nate Wiggins tackle. Joe Flacco upset. All Ravens fans. More Ravens fans. It's a sea of purple. Browns players walking around in disgust. I got one Browns fan right there. Okay, there's Joe. He looks upset. And there's no other Ravens fans around this guy. This is not real. This guy is not a real Browns fan. That's it. That's a Ravens plant. And if it's a CBS plant, well then we gotta have a discussion here.
That was just
I won't say it's a CBS
so
plant.
early because was he wearing? When did he put it on? He didn't go to the game wearing that.
Well, clearly,
like I'm going to go to the celebration and admire in Baltimore. Like I'm going to take that kind of beating from the fans around me. It's just the whole thing seemed off.
Because they're all probably buddies. He probably sits there every week. They probably all know him.
Come on.
And they all thought it would be great because he's probably listening to, because they were talking about it on 105.7. Yeah, all last week we played the Rob Long audio from coming on our station, and Ken Wyman and Vinny Serrato and Bob Hay, all them guys. They were probably talking about it on 105.7 all week. We were talking about it all week. I got worked into a dander. Other people got worked into it. They had to release a statement like, oh, we didn't know. And I think he just goes, yeah, I'm going to troll him. That's an old Brady Quinn jersey. That's a thrifted Brady Quinn jersey that guy's wearing. Yeah, it's a plant. It's a plant. It's a Ravens fan to make us look worse.
And they found that guy twice.
I started finding myself really hating the Ravens during the game, too. I went to a dark place for a moment where I'm like, I think I might hate the Ravens more than...
Well,
I might hate Ravens fans more than I hate Steelers fans because I go, I got to tell you, because they're so close, and I've told you, like, I'm from Stark County, so it's a different outer ring where there are a lot of, because of the steel mills and stuff, there are a lot of Steelers fans who have come over. I'll tell you why another day. There's been a lot of Steelers fans who have come over and they stayed Steelers fans over the last 100 years. And I thought, you know what? As much as it might pain to say, I got a lot of good friends who were Steelers fans. Got a lot of good buddies who were Steelers fans. How many Ravens fans do I know?
Yeah, I don't know any.
One? So I'm like, what the hell? I don't know those fans. Part of me wants to say to hell with them, but I don't like to say that way about fans.
I got to say, I wondered how much of a focal point the celebration was going to be, and really just coming out of the one break, they talked about Flacco and they showed his kids. They showed his kids a lot. I was actually surprised, and I was also surprised Flacco didn't get him into a suite somehow. I know it was their first home game, so maybe a little tougher, but I felt bad because his kids were out there, and I'm like, well, wait a second, are their kids Ravens fans? Like if you're a Flacco kid, you're probably a Ravens fan. You might have been rooting for the Browns yesterday or rooting for your dad.
To school with all Ravens fans that grew up in the area.
Yeah, so I'm like, their kids aren't going to be that mad.
Like they live in Cleveland right now. They're still there.
Yeah, they're there. So that part of it was weird, and they kept showing them time and time again. I mean, it was like 7 different times it showed the whole family. In fact, the family was laughing at the one touchdown that we had with Flacco, which was tipped. And
the actual catch by Cedric Tillman.
Right, the one you actually
that's
hold
how
in.
You complete passes. You have someone else tip it first.
There's a lot of tips.
The third one of his season.
A lot of tips yesterday, but they did show Ray Lewis on the Jumbotron as they were coming out of a break. It was a cool shot, not cool for a Browns fan, obviously, but it was a cool shot to see kind of from the field level and that. But that was it for the celebration.
Was the suit? Did he have the suit on him? Or?
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
This again?
Reckless speculation.
Get it out of the trash can, Ken?
You sure? Okay. Maybe it's still around the stadium. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out another day. I will say this before we go to the phones. I came to a realization yesterday afternoon because I watched the game and I got the 3 system set up. I got the red zone on one. I got the game on the big TV. I got the Alexa playing the fan, and I'm listening to Siliano and Nathan and Gerard. And the game goes on, and I stopped my notes the bulk of the fourth quarter. I said end notes, and that was the end of it. And then I start working on stuff for this week, and I start sending text to you guys because I was trying not to talk that much yesterday because of my throat. And I'm working on these other things, and my wife is texting me. The neighbor's got the pool open. It's 77 degrees outside. They had the heater on, so you're looking at an 80-something degree pool. And I go, what? She's like, what are you doing right now? I'm like, I'm working. This is what I'm doing. This is my life. I'm watching the Browns game. This is what I've done. And I get upstairs, and it's about 5:30. He's had his post-game press conference. Miles has had his post-game press conference. And I thought, my God, last day because it hit me. It's the last day that you can do anything with summer. Like, that's it. The pool was open for one final day. It was September 14th. That's it. Neighbor's pool's closed. That's the end of the summer. And my neighbor even wrote on the group text, summer's over, see you in the spring. And I went, man, I gave up on a pool day with all 3 of my boys, and my neighbors who were very close with to watch us get boat raced by the Baltimore Ravens in my basement alone. Really crystallizes things for you, doesn't it? Maybe that's why I'm mad.
It was a time.
That's why I got so mad. Where a lot of you guys went, I'm going to the pool, or I'm going to go golf, and I wasn't that mad kid.
Or, I wondered how many fans just went over to Red Zone because there were wild games. Remember, I talked about how boring I thought Week 1 was? Week 2 was not boring. There was just the craziness that was going on all over the NFL with the back and forth, and
Dallas and the Giants.
That game was insane. And the Dolphins game, even though the Dolphins, stink most likely, and they might have the first coach getting fired, but their game against New England was bonkers as well. And the 49ers game wasn't bad with Mac Jones.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Mike in Shaker Heights. Hello, Mike.
Good to be on. What's frustrating is Kevin Stefanski, man. He's just not a leader of men. I mean, which one is it? Was we going to blame Andrew Berry for all of these players, or is Kevin Stefanski? He can't coach nobody else.
Blame both. Go ahead and blame both. It's okay.
He can't develop a scheme to get receivers open. I mean, he's been here 6 years. Name one player he's developed, man. I mean, name another coach in the NFL that has been on the team for 6 years and haven't developed anybody. So I feel like we just gloss over how inept of a coach Stefanski is. All of these checkdowns and the lackadaisical offense, the special teams looks terrible. It can't all be Andrew Berry's fault or the players. I mean, guys coach up their players, man,
Well, listen, I got no defense. I can't have a conversation because I have no defense of him, Mike.
Them making the playoffs, during that Flacco run, that was one of the years where it was considered that Stefanski was coaching them up because they had so many guys that were on the team off the streets that weren't even on the team at the start of the year.
Okay, good point.
No, Nick Chubb covered a lot of holes on that offense, man.
Nick Chubb was injured.
Nick Chubb was out in game 2 of that year.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Okay. Well, Joe Flacco still was just like opening up the offense.
I'm going to just be there.
Nick Chubb was the reason as he went down in the second game.
You show up with your agenda and then you make your agenda clear.
Mike's overall point is taken by many fans.
Yeah,
going we are at the end of the line here. It's just he didn't execute it the right way. That's all. I don't know if there's any. I don't know many Browns fans who disagree with Mike and Shaker.
No,
what argument can you give me for Kevin and Andrew right now? Give me a serious argument.
Kenny, they've lost 8 in a row.
Yeah,
and look at the schedule.
They haven't scored over.
Where are the wins?
Somebody tweeted at me they haven't scored. Craig on Twitter. Twitter reaction is brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. He says, and I'm just going to take his word for it. They haven't scored over 20 points in 7 games.
Yeah, it was that Denver game, that shootout game in Denver that Jameis threw 3 picks, right? 2 pick sixes. Yeah. That's the last time they scored.
Russell Wilson with headache water. No, he has Malik Neighbors, but Russell Wilson with headache water scored over 30 points yesterday against Dallas. Russell Wilson, who can't even feel his hands, scored over 30 points. Like, you have to be almost trying. And you could try to say that, hey, they weren't trying their best over the last 6 games of the season last year. Okay, fine. But my God, to not be able to score over 20 points in a game for 7 games in the NFL, the rules are set up for you. I can't defend this anymore. I'm not getting loud.
Cincinnati with their backup quarterback had 31. Dallas had 40. The Giants had 37. Detroit 52. The Bears got walloped 21.
Daniel Jones, who I call not a good quarterback, who I call a running back, a glorified running back. Daniel Jones, how many points did they have yesterday?
Yesterday they had 29.
Bears, you brought up the Bears. They had I don't know how many of those were garbage.
Patriots,
I didn't
33.
Get to see. Patriots had 33 points.
San Francisco backup quarterback 26.
All these professional football teams
Spencer Rattler
that
21.
Aren't that good. All these professional football teams that aren't that good scoring over 20 points is what you're telling me. Yeah, it's bad. It's inept, and it ain't gonna make me feel any better to get rid of people halfway through the year. It's not, because it's just I don't celebrate firings because it's just another form of admitting failure. But you can't carry it. No, at this rate, you can't carry it in. You can't win football games with 1/3 of a football team. I got 1/3 of a football team, and you know what? The worst thing is I can't even say I think we're wasting defensive efforts. Now, I know you and Daryl are probably going to get into that about 8:20. I'll leave it here on this one. I can't even say we're wasting Miles because he signed his contract. So you should have known what you were getting into.
He signed up for it, yeah.
So if you signed up for it and you're the highest paid guy on defense, I can't say you were wasting it because you had your chance. I mean, you really had your chance to make a stink and get out of this thing, and you signed a contract. And then in week 2, the bleep's embarrassing. There's plenty of Mikes in Shaker Heights and Eds and Broadview and so many people out there that would have told you that. So that part on you, my friend, is blamed right on you, buddy. I want to get to more of these calls. 216-474-0092. Mitch, you're going to have to wait a little bit. I wanted to get to about last night. I got to get to these people here. I got to get to the fans. They got to be able to vent. 216-474-0092. Do you care? Is there an argument that you can give me other than you just want to be right about some argument you had with your friend 6 years ago about these guys? Ken Carmen, Anthony Lyman. It's week 2 on The Fan.
Real estate market.
It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
92.3 The Fan has the most local sports talk in town, and you can be a part of it anytime you want. Weigh in on X at 92.3 The Fan and see our hosts make your reaction a part of our shows. Powered by Shaiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Have no fear and throw the ball down the field. Then watch Flacco dink and dunk. Number 2, trade Njoku, get a receiver. Fan is the same player. You have no weapons. Tillman caught it on a fluke. Judy, 2 or 3 drops. Defense is legit. Ward, I don't know why he can't stay on the field when it's an away game during the day. I don't understand. We played great defense beside guarding Zay Flowers. I don't know where the safety help is over the middle. I don't understand what's going on.
That was the coming in hotline. Do we have a name for that person?
That was Dan.
Dan, thank you very much for the call. I hear what you're saying. Trade him for a pick, though. Trade David Njoku for a pick. I don't want Andrew Berry picking wide receivers. Amari Cooper this, Amari Cooper that. All right, yeah, I got it. Yeah. No. Let's get a pick, and then if they move on, then somebody else will be making the pick, and they'll execute the choices. You can use the coming in hotline. All you have to go do is go to the free Odyssey app, and right next to the Listen Live button, under 92.3 The Fan, is a microphone. You click that, keep it within 30 seconds if you can. You start going off and on, and Owen just gets frustrated and goes delete.
Do that.
And that's it. Yeah, so try to get it in within 30 seconds. That was nice. Very well done, Dan. Very succinct. That's excellent. Big Lan also says, Ken, Tony, 1-1 or moral victories? Yep. The moral schedule, we are 1-1 this year.
That seems about right.
216-474-0092.
I did want to also, there's a second picture of the baghead guy. There are Browns fans around him. There's another guy around.
Somebody said Twitter had done an investigation yesterday and that he had walked into the stadium with the bag, which makes zero sense. That just makes zero sense if you are a Browns fan.
Like that.
It's definitely uncomfortable.
You can walk with the bag.
If you're a fan of peripheral vision.
If it's as hot as some people were saying it was, where DeJuan Jones had to leave the game because it was too hot, you're going to wear a bag before the game? Over your head? I mean, come on. That could not have been pleasant.
No, you don't walk in like that. You can't see out of that thing. Has anybody ever worn those bags and walked around? I imagine the eye holes, you're messing with your eye holes there. I don't think you can really walk around in that thing. I would imagine he was probably wearing a Ravens t-shirt underneath. And man, you put that bag on already. It was 9-0. Really? So you just stayed in that seat the whole time? You're 0-1. It's week 2, and you wore that going in there? Talk about and while they're doing a 30th anniversary celebration, you're getting cucked by the Ravens there, are you not? I mean, good God.
That would be humiliating.
Like, I could see him putting the jersey in a bag and carrying the bag in, even though you're only supposed to have clear plastic bags.
That was not a clear bag. Yeah, how did he sneak this one in?
Well, technically, it's a headgear. And how does Pumpkinhead get his pumpkins in there? Does he crow them along the sidelines?
You can't smuggle gourds in. Come on.
I didn't know anything about it. They don't say anything about bags or wearing fruit on your head, so maybe we'll find out. John in Cleveland. Hello, John.
Yeah, 2 things about the game. As far as Miles' comments post-game, I stopped taking anything he said seriously after his song and dance on Radio Row. As far as the game goes, I'm not surprised or angry about what happened. They brought back this terrible regime with a terrible coaching staff that can't develop anybody, an offensive line that after 2 weeks is starting to crumble, a wide receiver core that can't beat anybody one-on-one, and a special teams that is, well, special. That's all I got, man. Thanks.
All right, John, thank you very much for the call. 216-474-0092. Nick and Menor, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Nick.
Hey, I got a better thing to say. How about them Ohio State Buckeyes?
Well, that was.
You were a house divided. You went to Ohio State.
That was.
And you also went to OU.
That was tough sledding there. It was tough sledding for a while.
I was still happy with the win from Ohio State. Can't really say much about the Browns right now. We need a lot of work. That's all I can say about that.
All right, Nick is hotter than hell this morning. JJ in Cleveland. Hello, JJ.
Hey, good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
We're doing wonderful, JJ. Can't you tell? Go right on ahead.
I know, right? Can we just see the rookies?
In due time.
I mean, Well,
I feel like we're playing more rookies than most teams.
He's
right
talking
now.
about the quarterbacks.
I'm talking about the quarterbacks, which we are though. But he's supposed to be this coach that can, coach up these players, and I just haven't seen it. The whole time he's been here, we got lucky with Flacco a few years ago. Like after the Green Bay game, which we probably gonna get smashed. Can we see the rookies after that? Because we about to go into next year not even having a quarterback. Meanwhile, freaking the Colts, they drafted a quarterback, he retired, and now they done went and found a supposedly quarterback in Daniel Jones. They ain't punted the ball yet, and that's all we do is punt the ball. The Colts ain't punted the ball yet in 2 weeks of football.
When we physically can. He almost wasn't able to make it through the rest of the game.
We can't even punt the ball. It's ridiculous. And then, of course, our kicker come and made 2 field goals this week, just like he didn't miss any last week.
Do you think it's going to get any better, JJ? Do you think this situation?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Absolutely
and it's only
not,
week
man.
2, guys. That's why it's like I got
tough,
people going,
man.
Ken, they're going to be here for 2026 as well.
I mean, I would hope so. I would hope it get better, but I don't know.
Listen to yourself.
Not next week.
JJ,
that's for sure.
I got to let you go. Thank you very much for the call. It's week 2. It's week 2. You hear this exasperation? There's no way. If this continues, guys, you got to sell tickets. You can't bring them back for 2026.
Well, and this is where...
Because I'll tell you by that time, what is your locker room culture going to be? Or the feeling in there? So if you bring back more of the same, then I get myself worried we're going to be in it. And the only recent one I can think of is an Eberflus situation where, or even a Baker situation with Hugh. Why are you keeping this guy around? Let's all move on from this situation at the end of the year, because now I'm going to have a rookie. Sorry, hey man, there's plenty of good coaches. The situations don't go well, but if this continues, I'd love to make a defense for these guys. I can't. So now I got to start paying attention to coordinators and all that other crap. Go ahead, Tone. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, look. There's plenty of season. There's plenty of season to get Gabriel in there. You talked about in the opening segment, hey, if they think he's ready, I don't know how they could possibly think he's ready to go.
I don't either.
But fine. I think if you start him this week, they're probably getting obliterated by halftime, and we're all going to be looking at each other going, what now?
Why do we decide that? Yeah.
Yeah, what now? What do we do? We're going to play Shador next week?
I could see that.
And then this thing really goes off the rails. It's just to me a little too soon.
There's a reasoning behind it that I really don't like, and I want to play that for you guys also. Speaking of Shador, by the way, if he really thought this way, then he is a damn genius. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. And then at work, watch us for absolutely free on YouTube Live. Daryl going to join us here in 20 minutes on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carman.
He needed an infusion of young talent. And I think that all links back to the cost of the Deshaun Watson trade. You know, when you go 3 years without a first-round pick, you have a lot to make up for. And it looks like the Browns are starting to do that. I mean, we'll see. Maybe over the next week or two, they get even more help with Quinshon Judkins coming back.
Listen for the MMQB's Albert Breer, Tuesdays at 5:20 on Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
This game is over, but what you're hoping is something, okay, can I see something here that I like? And I think for Dylan Gabriel, his first NFL experience, that looks pretty darn good. 3 for 3, 20 yards and a touchdown to Sampson.
There's going to be a Dylan Gabriel conversation this week. I don't think there's going to be much of a push to play him against the Packers. Green Bay's too good.
That's a tough defense.
That is a tough defense.
Just too good. We can't hang with their stuff. Not that I disagree. I can't disagree. Audio courtesy of the UH Browns Radio Network. I think that 100% of Browns fans or 99% of Browns fans would agree. The only thing I disagree on, I just want to think, and I don't know. So I'm making an argument for something I don't know that he knows. Now I'm sounding very Rumsfeldian here. I don't know if he's ready to go. When he's ready, he plays. That's where I'm at. So if it happens to be this week against Green Bay, which, boy, if he's already ready week 3, it's like, why wasn't he ready week 1?
Well, I was just going to ask that.
You were going to say,
I was literally thinking about that.
I knew it, yep.
Like, why didn't he start week 1? Well, it's because he's not ready, and he's not good enough right now. But fans have seen Flacco. They know he can't move, and they're 0-2, so what's the difference?
Well, he could move last week. That's the thing. He could move last week, so we were like, well, maybe there's still some magic left in them legs.
I also think Baltimore is a lot more talented defensively, a lot smarter defensively, and the Bills tore them up, but that's the Bills. There's a huge difference. Look at Detroit. What happened from week 1 to week 2. They're just playing a different team, a caliber of team, and they put up 50-some points. So your competition does matter. And Flacco looked good at times against the Bengals. I know they didn't score enough points, but it was always going to be a much, much tougher task against the Ravens on the road, just like it'll be a very, very difficult task in week 3 with the Packers at home.
It probably is too early to go to Dylan Gabriel. I'm not trying to rip you guys who are like, I think when I see professionals, it's like, well, no matter what you try to do, guys, they all get thrown in the deep end. Yeah. There's when you're playing in a real NFL game, there's no water wings. There's no floaties. It's like, nope, you go right in the deep game or right in the deep end. And to me, it doesn't matter. Like, there are killers on every single defense. There's guys who you have to take seriously on every single defense.
Even the Bengals have Trey Hendrickson.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you know what? I thought about it. Like, Deshaun Watson, do you remember his first game with the Browns? It was like, all right, Houston, this is the best case scenario. And it wasn't in Houston? Was it? And he was.
I thought it was.
He
was in Houston.
He was abysmal. Kenny was like throwing ground balls, and it was so bad.
No need to think about it. I know for a fact we wondered why they would have him go back to Houston. The NFL.
Oh,
did the schedule.
Wait, you're talking Watson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you meant Baker. Yeah. Sorry.
So even when you think you have the most ideal setup, I mean, eventually, I agree with you. I know where you're going. Like, no matter what you do, it's going to be difficult.
If we're looking for ideal,
I'm just not. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my bias showing. I just don't think Dylan Gabriel's going to be good. I think he's a poor man's Kyler Murray. Do you remember DTR's first game? And DTR started 50 games in college.
Yeah.
And DTR had skills.
Yeah,
and
he played against Baltimore.
And he was a 5th-round draft pick.
But he wasn't ready.
And he looked like he wasn't ready for football. What do you guys think Dylan Gabriel's going to look like?
He got thrown out there. It was a
weird.
surprise.
It was a
weird situation.
He wore a skull suit, so I don't know how much that was.
I remember that's when we knew that DTR thought he was going to play. Yeah. We analyzed the suits that he wore because if he wore like a jogging suit,
he wore a t-shirt and jeans.
He wasn't playing
previous weeks.
But if he wore a suit that day, he was playing. That was right. If we want to do it perfect, then I guess maybe Miami, October 19th. I don't know what Pittsburgh is. They look kind of weird defensively. Do you want to start him at Pittsburgh Week 6? Is that okay? Like, you see where I go with that? Like, I go, guys, it's not that big of a difference. Like, this is a good defense that we have, but if you look at the totality of the football team, it's like, yeah, they're 0-2, and this looks like this is going to go really, really, really bad. And that Kenny, and let me say this for everybody. Yeah, I lied to myself the week before the season. I lied to myself. I let myself down again because I don't like being a bad guy. So we had plenty of people going, why aren't you getting, where's the Super Bowl, Super Browns? Like they wanted to get excited for the season. And I'm sitting there. At first, I was saying through the winter, I go, I think they can win 6 games. I think they'll line up and they'll try to run the football. I didn't know Quinshon Judkins wasn't going to be available to us throughout the training camp. But I thought they'd try to line up and run the football. Still had a lot of those guys left. Didn't realize that, maybe they're starting to get a little bit old, or maybe our wide receivers aren't what they're supposed to be, so they're not the threat that they were when you had, Nick Chubb, one of the best in the business, and you had 2,000-yard wide receivers for your football team that both had to be taken seriously, and then you had David Njoku to work with them. Now it's David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, and tumbleweeds. Maybe Isaiah Bond someday. I'm probably just being a hopeful Browns fan with that. You think?
Well,
right now?
Harold Fannin.
Well, but I'm talking about.
Well, you put David Njoku in there. You got to put Harold Fannin.
David's the veteran. That's so. I'm sorry, you're right.
Well, Harold Fannin's the one that's making plays on offense right now.
You're right. David, Harold, Jerry, which is still
that's the problem. Your second
excellent.
tight end is your offensive threat right now.
So if you want to put him in against Miami week 7, I don't think you're gonna make it week 7. But if you want to put him in week 7, go right on ahead. By the way, if Shador said this, I think he's a freaking genius. Hit it.
All said, a consensus had been reached. The Baltimore Ravens, were planning to select Shador Sanders in the 5th round with the 141st overall selection. But when he found out, he got word back to the Ravens that he preferred not to go to a place where he would be competing and backing up Lamar Jackson. He wanted to be in a place that he could play. And so when the Ravens got that message, they pivoted, went a different direction with the 141st overall selection. And 3 picks later, the Cleveland Browns selected Shador Sanders, who will be in Baltimore today, where he could have been spending his NFL career if he were willing to back up Lamar Jackson. Preferred not to do that. And so Shador Sanders will make that trip to Baltimore today. Could have been a Raven, but he's a Brown, 3rd string on the depth chart.
Audio courtesy ESPN. Genius. Man's a genius. If he said in the post game that was the first he had ever heard of such a thing. Here's Shador.
I don't even remember anything post-drive. I remember I'm here, I go to practice every day, and, it's a 24-hour rule.
Did that catch you off guard to see that?
What?
Just that report that when that came out?
I just found out since y'all telling me.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it until you told me.
So you are a little surprised to hear that?
Nah, I don't really. It serves no purpose in my life.
So I don't necessarily think that Adam Schefter's lying.
I didn't hear a denial there, did you?
No. He said this is the first he's heard about that. Doesn't mean he didn't think it.
First he's heard it was reported.
Listen, give him credit. Because if Adam Schefter is right, he's a genius. Shador went to a play. We got into a big fight with the Shador fans because I'd said that they're not trying to sabotage, not on purpose. They're not trying to sabotage Shador. Their process might be messed up, but they're not trying to sabotage Shador. And I said, this is a perfect scenario for you. Name a better place for you if you want to play and you want to play early. Go ahead and play the tapes. Name a better place where you're going to play and play early than Cleveland, Ohio in the NFL. And if that is true, what Adam Schefter just said, then he is absolutely a genius. You don't want to go and back up. He would back up Lamar till when? Playing garbage time. Mm-hmm. Might start the last game of the season. Okay. He would hand the ball off.
Although the funny thing is, Lamar's backups have played.
Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl.
Tyler Huntley played a bunch, and they do blow teams out and get guys in the fourth quarter.
And they do get guys in. And hell, he might have came in against us yesterday for all we know. I mean, hell, think about that for a moment. But if he wants to actually show what he's got instead of just, garbage time, being taken care of, Cleveland's the one it is. But why if he wants to start and make big money sooner, Cleveland's where it would be.
Why would
he has
an
that much
NFL
confidence
team
in himself,
care whether a guy wants to be somebody's backup or not? If they think that he would come in and give them potentially another quarterback that could do the job successfully, why would the Ravens go, he said he doesn't want to be here, guys, so...
Well, the Ravens I'm sure the Ravens just thought he doesn't want to be a backup. He doesn't have the right attitude.
Well,
they want for a backup quarterback.
I don't think it's hard to believe at all, especially considering that, a big part of the discourse about Shador was how badly his team had botched the whole process. And if he's out there being very selective you're already not considered a first-round talent at that point, and now it's like, well, he keeps dropping. Why does he keep dropping? Is it whiteboard stuff? Are they worried about the processing? Or was he really damn selective? And if he doesn't want to go to a world-class organization that has some of the best ownership, one of the best organizations in all sports, Baltimore, what are the other teams thinking when they're catching wind on something like that?
Well, they didn't catch wind on that until pick 141, which is what Schefter just said in the clip.
If this
they
is
picked
true,
him at pick 144.
True. But if this is true, then he had got to the point where he just wanted a chance to play and play sooner than later. Cleveland's the best spot for it. You're going to sink or swim at some point because at this rate, you are absolutely going to play. Hell, I was guessing by Thanksgiving. We might be talking Halloween.
Yeah, but can we
then.
stop?
It might be a real spooky time.
Can we once and for all stop with the talk of collusion around the NFL doesn't want? No, they just don't want a guy who's not the most talented at that position in a bad quarterback draft being very selective on where he wants to go. Like there's a lot of teams that just aren't going to touch that. And though, by the way, I got to credential 10 of your buddies to come in and do a film crew and then report behind the scenes and film for a documentary.
For games?
Guess what? Teams don't want that. Teams don't want anything to do with it. So it just becomes an unwanted distraction at some point.
Hold on.
And look, it's not that I think he has been a distraction in Cleveland, but do you think Kevin Stefanski loved the fact? Hold on. Do you think the NFL? Do you think the Browns like the fact, Kevin Stefanski in particular, liked the fact that the Browns were in the A block on the national shows every day about whether or not they're holding him hostage?
No.
Like, Kevin Stefanski's got to be like, what?
But we're talking past the fact of the report.
He's the third or fourth string quarterback, guys.
The report was that the Baltimore Ravens wanted to draft him, and he said no. It wasn't anything about his team or anything about the cameras that he brings in. And I know what you're saying. We've all lived this for how long now? But that's not what the reports were.
Well, so
now you're just muddying it up with this. Well, he brings cameras and he brings.
But
in
it's all part of the experience,
No,
and it's why he didn't get picked until where he got picked. He has nobody but him and his team to blame for that reality.
Okay.
That is a reality. And the kid. I love the story of the kid. I do, but at some point, we have to recognize the world's not out to get Shador Sanders. He made his bed. He made his bed. Him and his team made his bed. And now he's on the Browns, one of the worst teams in football. And he's not going to get on the field anytime soon.
The credentials and things like that aside, because if he were supposed, when we were talking about him being the number 2 overall pick, number 2, number 1 overall picks, I know Cam Ward's a pretty quiet person, but yeah, they get a lot of people credentialed to their football games when they're quarterbacks. So that doesn't throw me off. But I think that it could be as simple as this without trying to be too dramatic about it or taking the drama out, which I'm probably not supposed to do as a radio show host. The Ravens might have just thought, he wants to what? Well, he's not going to start here. He's going to back up Lamar. Well, then if he doesn't have the backup's attitude to just develop here, then we're probably just going to have to let him go after camp, and we're just going to waste a 5th-round pick. So we'll just use the 5th-round pick on somebody else. And then he has a situation in Cleveland where Cleveland was one of the very few spots he could have went to that, he's probably going to start sooner than later. So if his whole goal was to start as soon as possible, he's a damn genius. I didn't know it was going to go this off the rails this quickly, but I think a lot of Browns fans
he was the only. What is he on the depth chart? Third.
He's third.
He's the only number 3 quarterback on any team in the league to have microphones and cameras in his face after a blowout loss. Like, this is only happening here.
There was a report.
This is only happening here. It wouldn't be happening anywhere else.
Find me a report.
Of course it's Cleveland, and of course it's the Browns.
Okay.
Where the 3rd-string quarterback is conducting a press conference after a game that he only was on camera like one time during the game.
Well,
by the way, they're carving out practice time now for Shador Sanders to get some work in at the end of practice. So instead of actually getting ready for the Ravens, who beat your ass in week 2 and has everybody wanting to fire the coach and the GM, we're sitting. Is that part of practice, or is it tacked on?
How many coaches
practice
do we have that can't
ends.
work with the guy?
Now we're going to do another segment. Why don't we get ready for the Ravens? Can we get ready for the Ravens game?
They got ready for the Ravens.
Yeah, did they? How'd that work out
They're
for
not
them,
good.
Ken?
They're
How'd
not
that work
good.
out? Let's
They're
carve
not
out some
good.
more time for
They're
3rd-string
not
quarterback.
good.
Where's Snoop Huntley? Where's Blake
Because they ain't
Zappi?
good.
Do you want to get those guys in?
You couldn't have beat the Ravens.
Oh, it's
Does it
Bailey
really
Zappi.
hurt?
Abby, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. You're not going to devolve this into me having to yell over you.
Let's
here.
get more.
That ain't going to work.
Let's get more practice time, and let's have practice go 10 hours to get all the quarterbacks the reps they need to get ready for the season.
Well, you're the guy who told me that they didn't have any talent
here?
And they don't have any
What is
talent.
the plan for the Cleveland Browns
here?
here?
Decision on that one.
Because that is embarrassing. Do we want to have the fifth-string quarterback get press conference after another blowout loss?
2-15 this year, is it really going to matter that they spent extra time with Shador Sanders at the end of practice?
Totally normal. Guys, everything's
it's
fine.
not going to matter.
Everything's totally normal and fine here. Third-string quarterback does a press conference after a game.
If there's a report about Easton
talking
Stick
about?
from Adam Schefter, I don't even know where Easton is. Is he still with the Chargers?
Get some cameras in front of him.
If there's a report about Easton Stick from Adam Schefter before a game, you're going to have some cameras around his locker at the end of the game. But there's no reports on Easton Stick from Adam Schefter before the game. There's a report about Shador Sanders. And so they asked him. It wasn't like they made him available. He wasn't at the podium, was he?
Seemed pretty available.
No, that was at lockers.
It's at the locker room.
Hey, let's get to the heart of the matter. What happened here in Baltimore today? Let's get Shador Sanders out here.
As a person who has had to gather post-game sound and actually has been in a locker room, you are available to walk up to anybody.
Yeah.
You are available to walk up to anybody who's in a locker. That's the way it works. He was at his locker. They saw the report from Adam Schefter. He's a big name and a big story, and anytime his name is mentioned means clicks. So they decided to ask him. This is not hard.
A big
I don't know why you're.
He is not a big story.
You're demonizing him for a story to be out about him.
No,
you're demonizing him.
I'm demonizing. Why did they draft him, Kenny? Why did they draft him? What did they do?
We will eventually find out.
Why did they draft him after they drafted Dylan Gabriel? We're talking about all the holes this team has on the roster, and we drafted 2 running backs and 2 quarterbacks. Meanwhile, we have no replacements on the offensive line. And makes absolutely no sense whatsoever what they were doing in this year's draft when it came to that.
And in the end, when they finish 3-14 again, you will say, what does it matter? See, you're mad now, but at the end of the season, you'll say, what does it matter? Just like you said after the Ravens game and earlier this morning. What does it even matter? Why are you getting that upset, Ken? I'll use your own logic against you. What does it even matter? We're probably moving on from all these guys in charge anyway. You decided to take a risk on a guy who fell to the 5th round. I don't know why you're smiling over there. It's starting to boil my blood.
It's just
and
insane.
At the end, Anthony Lima
such
will
a
say,
Cleveland Browns thing.
What does it matter? As mad and as much of the Browns thing as it is, Lima will go, what does it matter?
Wizard's gonna wizard, man.
Yeah. I'm up on your tricks. You may fool them. You may be able to fool the FBI, but you can't fool the FBI,
so
brother.
Me once. Shame on you. It fooled me. We can't get fooled again.
He's not even getting the scout team reps, from what I heard this week.
He got some of them.
Yet he's getting the press conference after the game. Totally normal situation in NFL football.
He did get the 50-second Adam Scheffler clip on this show.
It's not a press conference. They approached him in the locker room.
Okay, Kenny.
What do you mean, okay? That's the facts of the matter.
Standard stuff. It's totally standard.
Your Honor, the facts show that they... Okay.
I saw lots of third-string quarterbacks getting interviewed yesterday.
That's how you do something.
I'm sure Stefanski's loving that.
You took the LSAT, and that was going to be your cross-examination?
I am sure Stefanski is totally loving the fact that Shador Sanders is getting press run. And again, now that'll get played. Yeah. That'll get played all day today on the
That's how Johnny Cochran run. He just looked at Marshall Clark and went, okay.
That's definitely going to work out for him.
Okay.
Totally normal.
Okay. Yeah, totally normal. Yeah, totally normal behavior.
Ken's defending this, which is hilarious.
Okay, Marsha. Okay. Do we have time for Daryl?
You want to hear Jeff Thomas do an update?
Should we move Daryl back?
I don't know. Daryl's probably on the Commerce.
I want to give Daryl proper time. All right, let's check with Daryl. Ken Carmen, Tone on the Fan.
7 and 480 east at Broadway at 35 minutes away from State. Heavy congestion along 90 east from Crocker to Hilliard. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Back in the Fan. I haven't even checked social media. I have no idea what they're saying. I just know when you make Owen mad, you've done some work. And so Daryl's going to join us at 9 o'clock because we went way over last segment. We got very personal, very petty with each other over Shador of all people.
Of course, right? Of course.
Oh, my God. Oh, God in heaven. All right, 216-474-0092. Is it time for a quarterback change? All I said was if he really wanted to play as soon as he could, this is it. Welcome to it. And he was right. If what Adam Schefter said is true, which I wouldn't believe the report, but just call it. What are you trying to say about
I'm
Adam
not
Schefter?
saying that he wasn't told that.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a convenient, these two teams are playing this week. That's when you're going to say something like that. I just don't know why an NFL team would go, well, if he doesn't want to be here, I guess we're not going to have him here. If you think he helps your football team,
do you think
Owen would bring him in?
Do you think Owen, maybe if it's a first-round player or a second-round player, but when you get to the fifth round, you're like, if he doesn't want to be here, I don't know. I thought about that too. And
if you're a team like the Ravens, though, are you absolutely depending on your fifth-round pick to contribute on the field this year? You are not going, we're a piece away, but that fifth-round linebacker is going to be the one that puts us over the top.
You're right.
Or whatever they ended up taking.
I totally get what you're saying. I would also wonder, does anybody deny that this was intentionally leaked by the Ravens?
Oh, no, that's 100.
Yesterday.
Yeah, that's...
It was another way to either make him look bad, which I don't even think everybody thinks he looks bad in that situation. But, I mean, Kenny called him a genius.
I mean, I don't know if the baghead's the bigger plant or this report's the bigger plant. They're both huge plants.
Like right before the game.
Why would the Ravens need to say anything, though? What does it help with them?
It all goes into the talking last week by who we had, Grant Delpit and Jerry Judy and all of this stuff. I mean,
so they go, we'll fix their wagon.
It got very petty at one point last week.
I did want to ask. So speaking of petty,
if we're going to live in a petty party,
nobody does it better than this show. We have the experts in the field.
Oh yes.
Okay, Jerry Judy comes out and gave the birds, double birds, I guess, to everybody in the stands.
Yeah, he did.
How do you feel about when all was said and done, the talking that happened between the teams this week? And we did say, like, hey, if they back it up, then we're going to let them talk all year.
I thought the defense was good, and I thought they backed it up as best they could. It's just, maybe you should quiet it down because you didn't realize your offense was going to put you in such a predicament.
Derrick Henry wasn't as hard to tackle as everyone said. They were right on that. He does fine on his yards per carry against the Browns, and last year with the Ravens, he ran well against them. But in a career, he's the one big time running back I can remember watching Browns games going, oh, they can contain him.
Miles and Mason Graham in the opening quarter, like there was what I thought looked to be a hole, and immediately Miles, and you don't think of Miles in that way. Like we think of Miles
Mason, I think,
as a pass rusher. And Miles just easily tackled him to the ground, just bear hugged him and took him down. I'm like, whoa, all right, setting the tone here. Let's go. But, even Miles said after the game, like, eventually the dam breaks. And that's just the case in defense in the NFL. Eventually good offenses, if you give them enough opportunities, they're going to be able to move the football.
Especially when you throw a pick and it gets returned back.
Short possessions,
Well, you had him lined up in a B gap a couple times and taken over the interior. Right. And I think it really disrupted their run game. And you
didn't see any RPO, and you didn't see any of him taking off because a week earlier, Lamar Jackson ran all over the place. And I did hear some people say, well, it's the Browns. He didn't want to. But early in the game, when it seemed like the game could go either way, you would have thought at some point they would have pulled some of those
and
gimmicks out.
Somebody had tweeted at me, and I wish I'd brought it up. They tweeted at me like right after the show on Friday. They were like, man, Mason's going to have a test in front of him because he's got Tyler Linderbaum in front of him, and that's one of the best in the business. And I thought Mason did a fine job.
Yeah,
for sure. And I don't think I'm breaking any news there. I think a lot, by and large, do you believe
pretty gritty right now?
But. Well, but do you think? But I don't even need to be gritty. Like I think that the guys who are going into work right now, I think they all agree that Mason Graham did a fine job on Sunday. So I don't got any qualms with that. Yeah. So yeah, man, like listen, there's some guys who are good. Not good enough because you only got 1/3 of a football team to go out there and help you win football games.
And not only that, eventually the good offenses are going to be able to pick apart your weaknesses. And it just goes to show, like as dominant as the Browns can be, the minute that Denzel Ward, has to leave the game, the minute that Miles has to leave a drive, and then look who they're targeting. I mean, some of our defensive backs, guys. And that's with Lamar Jackson being off. Like, Lamar had opportunities. It just goes to show, again, your defense can be as dominant as all get out. Lamar Jackson had multiple opportunities to give the Ravens a huge lead in the first half, and he was just missing.
216-474-0092. You get to the phones here. Jeremy in Fort Worth, Texas. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, guys. The counselor is calling at just the right time. Let's all just take it easy. I think
you're going to calm me down.
I'm going to try.
Okay.
I think my take is this. As a fan, I was all caught up in whatever mysteries and stuff I was caught up in before the season started. I'm over with it. I just want to win or try to develop or see some kind of progress. I think the Browns make losing such a spectacle. It gets people fighting over things. The Browns are like that one big personality in the office, and nothing runs right and everybody's mad at each other and they fire that one person and everything's fine. I think Stefanski just needs to go. He's milquetoast. He's low energy. And the best part of the Browns, he has nothing to do with, basically, or little to do with, which is the defense. So I'm ready to see somebody play. I'm ready to see other people give the rookies a chance. I mean, I don't know. I just think the Browns as a whole are just toxic, and they attract a lot of spectacle energy.
In the words of Brad Childress, it's a programmatic non-fit. And this has been said a million times, Jeremy. How long have you listened to the show?
A long time.
Okay, so I got to let you go because I got to bring some other people in here, but thank you very much for the call. So you have heard me say this before. He might be the right coach. It's the wrong team. If they had, like, Kevin, I could see Kevin getting let go at the end of this year. And by the way, it being the right decision. And Kevin catching on with a team that has a veteran quarterback and being able to do the things that Kevin's always wanted to do. Because this team, damn it, how many times have we said it? There's a culture situation. And if you're not going to have legitimate leaders in that locker room. Now, I know Miles had a good game, and I saw him pull the defense to the side, and they had the report from Amanda Balionis on it and all the other stuff. I know he's trying, but it's probably still too little too late right now with Miles. You kind of are who you are. And until they find guys who are going to be ass kickers in the locker room and police that locker room and demand an effort out of everybody and be able to back it up because he can do whatever he wants. He can back up everything. It's Myles Garrett. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. So, like, when people are, oh my God, he's playing euchre on his iPad. Yeah, what am I supposed to say to the guy? It's the same thing when Lawrence Taylor would show up late doing God knows what to the Giants facilities. What would Bill Belichick say to him? Not a damn thing, because they're both Hall of Famers. But if you need leadership, you also need guys who are willing to stick it out and to talk to guys and to make sure that they're backing up their business. And the Giants had those guys at that time. You can ask any person who ever covered them. And for this team, they ain't got them. And so now you put more on your head coach. The reason why it's worked with Dan Campbell up in Detroit, former player, he's smarter than what we give him credit for, and he's a legitimate hard ass. That I think if you ever walked by and heard me saying nasty things about him, he'd probably powerbomb me through the table. That gets guys to respond, and it helps build it up. So you're not just a rah-rah guy. You know what you're doing, but you can actually back it up. Well, Kevin's not that guy.
Yeah, who's doing that with the Browns?
Exactly. So you need strong leadership from within. That's what's missing. When people are Harvard this and Harvard that, there's been plenty of guys. Didn't Ross Tucker go to Harvard? Which one went to Harvard? Where did Ross go to college?
Either Harvard or Princeton.
Yeah, Ross is a hard ass, I'm sure. Ross went to Harvard. But you need ass kickers in the locker room. And you got guys that are like Carson Schlesinger, for all I know, might be an ass kicker. He's going into week 3 as a rookie. You are who you are. And what you are is a collection of players that at one point sort of had a look at it, and now this is going to take longer than anybody thought. You were trying to do two things at once, and right now you're doing neither of them. Well, you're kind of developing young guys, but you're not winning football games, that's for sure. Coming up at 9 o'clock, the dangerous one, Daryl Ryder, going to join us on the show. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Stay there, I'm going to get to you guys. We need to have a quarterback change. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the Fan. Window Nation and windownation.com. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. And I give you 2 windows free for every 2 you buy. That's my deal.
best mayo has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
There's only one place for a full recap of practice in Berea. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. 92.3 The Fan.
I'm not out there playing football and taking the field every Sunday because I want good moments. I'm out there playing because I feel like I can do it at a high level and I want to win football games. It's no different than it's been my whole career. And I think from the outside, it's easy to look at that and say, oh yeah, like he's done this, he's done that. He's just having fun. And I am having fun, but it's about being a part of a winning football team, going to battle with those guys in the locker room. And I owe it not only to myself, but everybody in there to take it just as serious as I ever have.
I understand where he's coming from. I'm not having fun. This is not very much fun right now. So I'm willing to make the change. I guess I'm going to still trust Kevin, which maybe this should be a conversation. Maybe I shouldn't trust him at all. But I guess I'm going to have to trust Kevin to know when the quarterback should go in. Because I'd have to think, if you were to put him in against Green Bay and like come out today at 1, is his media availability at 1 o'clock today, I imagine?
It is Stefanski at 1. I'm sure we'll hear from some of the leaders of the team as well.
So Big Kev will talk at 1 today. And if Kev comes out and says, hey, he's playing on Sunday, I'd be a little bit worried, but at the same time I go, well, you know, I guess I do trust him to start guys when they're playing, even if it's against Green Bay. Even if it's against Green Bay, everybody's scared. I don't know what we're afraid of losing a football game. Like we haven't lost a bunch of them before. But I want him to be out there when he's ready. And as of right, flying completely blind, you only get to see him warm up. You don't get to see any of the stuff. Not anymore. So I guess the only time as of right now, I guess I'd start to feel comfortable and think that he might be ready. Because it's exactly what you and I were talking about right before we got into our big Shador Sanders fight. If it's Green Bay week 3, then you're going, why didn't you just start in week 1 then? Fair. The earliest I'm thinking right now is probably home against Miami. I don't know what Pittsburgh is right now. I don't know what they are. They're playing stupid They played stupid yesterday. And I'm not just talking, I saw that game. I'm not just talking about the gaffe they had on special teams. It was stupid.
Their defense has been atrocious.
Yeah,
We're talking about our last 8 games. Their defense. But Ken, let me ask you, if
Dumb football.
if it is a repeat,
opposite of smart football.
If it is a repeat on Sunday against Green Bay of what we just saw, and they're massive underdogs again, ready or not, right? They're just going to make the move. That's what almost any NFL team. If Flacco at 40 years old, like he's getting benched.
Oh, start him on the road against Detroit?
I know, none of it. At that
Detroit's
point,
not a good situation
I know.
either. Did you see what they did to Caleb Williams and the Bears?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I called that. I knew. It's only week 2, but the stuff like Nathan and I got into a disagreement because I'm like, I still worry about that offensive line. What do you mean? They addressed it. They went on and got Joe. I'm like, good teams don't just give up their good offensive linemen. Good organizations don't just give them up. Okay, you're getting someone from the Rams. You better watch your ass. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Total nonsense.
I'm just telling you. I'm just saying that what team in the NFL is not
came from the Chiefs. Jonah Jackson came from the Rams. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What NFL team isn't swapping out their 40-year-old quarterback if you're getting blown out in 2 straight games and in week 3, and it just looks like the season's already off the rails?
Yeah, because you're not accomplishing anything. So maybe it would be Detroit. But I think it does highlight what I'm saying to you is that I'm not going to feel comfortable against Green Bay or Detroit or Minnesota or Pittsburgh, at Pittsburgh. At least not now. Maybe I will by then. So that's why I side-eye everybody who's like, well, you can't play them against this team and you certainly can't play them against that team. They're all pros. They're all big dudes. They're all paid to kill you. That's what they're doing. They're paid to go out there and wreck your world and get you out of this league. And if you can't deal with it, fine. Because I'm sure there's bound to be some team right now that might be we could play so-and-so against the Browns. Well, you got 95 is going to be coming after you. 94 looks pretty good right now. So they're all adults, and they all get paid to do it. And I just think that, you could go out and you could start them against Miami at home on the 19th and have a little bit more confidence pregame, and all of a sudden you are having a real bad day. He's got to be ready to go. He's got to be ready. 216-474-0092. Chuck in Cleveland. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Doing well, Chuck. Go ahead.
All right. So about a week or so ago, Kevin Stefanski was asked a question about culture, and he kind of just blew it off, and he didn't want to take ownership for us not having culture. I think he actually said it's not about the culture we create, it's about the players that make the culture, or some crap like that. I just think it's time. It's over with. We need a hard-nosed coach, especially for a dysfunctional organization. You got to have a tough guy come in here that's going to take control of the team. I mean, what's up with Chucky? He's polar opposite of Stefanski. That's what we need to get in here.
Well, we want John Gruden in here.
Oh yeah, I think
John Gruden would be great now in the NIL era in college.
College?
Yeah, I really do.
Oh, you don't think he can control the team no more, huh?
I don't know if he's the right fit for this organization.
Okay.
And I love him. I know that he's got that whole thing cleared up, and they went after it, and I find him very entertaining, and I think he's probably obviously knows a lot about football, but I don't know if we want to go to the NFL route again.
Yeah, it'd be just dysfunctional. I don't think anything can help us at this point. All right, guys.
Thank you very much for the call, Chuck. Taking John Gruden calls.
If we get Gruden in here,
ain't Chuck's fault.
Can we all take turns sending him boxes and just having him churn out videos? I know he was Gruden was the epitome of.
I think every question at a press conference should be sent up in a box and then he opens it up.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Can he please come in here and do it live for me?
It'd be incredible.
Not the boxes, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Flip right double, X check, 36 counter naked waggle, and 7 X quarter on 1. Ready, effing break. Just make me feel better.
Somebody do a mashup.
Just make me feel better.
Somebody do a mashup with John Gruden opening the box at the end of Usual Suspects. That Usual Suspect.
At the end of 7.
7, yes. I get the two mixed up. At the end of 7, him opening the box, doing an unboxing, and then there's a big head in there.
You're a psycho.
Describe that one.
Fred in Cleveland.
Chucky,
I can give you 60 seconds. Go, Fred.
Hey, it's time for a change, man. The Flacco experiment is over, man. It's like flax seeds, man. It's just soaking up stuff, and it ain't producing. Just get rid of him, put him on the bench. We know what we're going to get. I think we should focus from now on just talking about the defense. Those guys been playing hard. They played hard seasons ago. It's the offense that can't get it together. So I think it's not only time for a change in QB, it's a time for a change with the coach as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you this.
We need to get
You're going to agree with me on this, though. This offense keeps it up. That defense ain't going to hang out for very long. They're going to get discouraged, and they're going to start blaming them, and then all of a sudden you're going to start to see some half-ass efforts there.
Well, yeah, and so right there, so how many more games? And if we're going to stank up the room, let's add some extra stank. Let's put the rookies in, see what we can get. We got to get rid of Judy as well. I don't know what we could get for him, man, but we got to get rid of him. The guy can't catch a cold, man. And all I can hear is all I see, what's in our DNA. We don't have a culture, but if I had to put a culture on it, it's buffoonery, because that's all it's been, man. It's a carousel of just foolishness, man, with the Browns offense year after year.
What would be, Fred, thanks for the call.
Judy, it has not been great, obviously, but he's by far the best you have at wide receiver. What are you doing without Jerry Judy? Then you got nothing. He's the only chance. 3rd and 7.
Well,
Flacco's fixated on him because that's the only guy that can actually run a route.
He's one of them guys. When things ain't going to go well,
I know.
He's not going to make it any better. And things ain't going well right now. And I don't think he's going to make it any better. So, Fred, I hope Fred's wrong.
And then
I hope Fred's wrong.
Then
or
Mark
Fred just might be
Schlereth will
early.
be banging the drum to come on the Cleveland radio shows.
Oh, man. There is a personal hate with them, and I enjoy that. Coming up next, the dangerous one, Daryl Ryder. Speaking of a personal hate, the dangerous one going to join us next. Does Daryl think we should make a QB change already? And he gave the defense an A+. I know somebody in this room is going to disagree. Ken Carman, Tone Master General. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Boy, the wizard is slipperier than ever today, by the way. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Friends, Ken Carman here.
923 The Fan on the Odyssey app for all today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
He's the pride of Bedford High School and the Buckeyes. Tyvis Powell talks Browns football every Monday afternoon at 1:20 with Baskin and Phelps on Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
92.3 The Fan. Looking for a winner. Enter the code SINGLE, SINGLE at 923thefan.com.
Screamed it
Before 10 a.m., your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Cavaliers take out the Bulls. Preseason action. Holy cow.
React to me.
NBA starting already. Tuesday, October 7th, 7 p.m. at Rocket Arena. Tickets on sale now. Cavs.com/tickets. Single. Again, single at 923thefan.com.
There's no off-season in that sport. They just keep on playing.
Do you want to go to this? Do you want to get some fans together and let's go to this?
Preseason game.
Let's go. Oh, you know what? We can't commit to it.
I have football practice.
You know why we You know why we can't commit to it?
Why?
We're gonna have baseball postseason.
Oh,
we're gonna have October to remember.
Okay. Bring on.
What have we won? 9 of 10?
Yeah, we're winning the division.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah.
All right, let's go out.
You think we're going to win the division?
Yeah, why not?
Let's crawl it before we walk, brother. I mean, fine, but I'm going to go ahead with wild card. Which, by the way, I don't know. I got to listen to something. Spencer apparently ripped me or something over the weekend. I have no idea.
Whoa! You deserved it.
Well, I said if they make the postseason, you can still rip them because you've made the postseason 2 years in a row. They ain't going to learn no lesson by not making the postseason. And I was sitting there, I was like, what's Spencer saying about me? What the hell? And then I was busy. So apparently Spencer ripped me over the weekend. Speaking of ripping me, Daryl Ryder, he joins us. It's brought to you by Scheib & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Daryl's going to rip me. Hello, Daryl.
Hello, boys. The NBA starting might be the best news Browns fans have heard all morning.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. I've been negative about this team for 3 hours and 3 minutes, and I am not going to hear it from you.
Well, buckle up.
Daryl, would you make
plenty more where that came from?
Would you make a QB change right now?
No. I would have Joe Flacco start the next 2 games against the Packers and the Lions, and then I would make the change for Week 5.
In England? You would start him his first start in England? Does it count if it's in England?
Yes, of course it counts, and yes, I would do that without hesitation.
But it's in England, Daryl. Aren't we afraid of it?
No. Let the English get to enjoy Dylan Gabriel's NFL starting debut.
Yeah, that's what they deserve over there. That's what they get. Here's the best of what we have to offer. Maybe he'll end up being good. I don't know. He played pretty well at garbage time yesterday, so we got that going for us. I had to come to a realization today, Daryl, is like, man, the only things I can say about Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry anymore is that I like them as guys. That's it. Like I think they're nice people, but I can't. There's no argument to make to keep them around. There's no argument. I got no leadership. It's been 6 years, more of the same. You're in a quagmire right now with the quarterback. Good God, you can't even wish him happy birthday on social media. I saw that yesterday. Good God almighty. What is there any defense I can make whatsoever? Like, special teams is terrible. We got a couple of rookies. Our pets' heads are falling off. What do you got, Daryl?
I wish I could cheer you up this morning, Ken, but I don't have a whole heck of a lot. Look, you're right. Special teams is a disaster under Beba Ventrone. The whole reason they brought him in and made him associate head coach and special teams coordinator, replacing Mike Prefer, was to improve that unit. It's as bad, if not worse, than when Prefer's here. They can't kick. They don't return kicks. They now get punts blocked. The only thing they do well is punt well. I will give them the credit of Corey Bojorquez is an outstanding punter. They punt the football very well.
As long as he's not hurt, because they got the punt blocked and he almost got his leg taken off.
Yeah, but the special teams unit does absolutely nothing well. Offensively, they right now don't seem to have any difference makers anywhere on the field, and they don't do anything well either. The offensive line is old. Andrew Berry did a terrible job shoring it up and getting qualified backups available because we knew, like, Jack Conklin and DeJuan Jones both are both fragile. They just are, and I'm not picking on those two players, but they're fragile. Conklin couldn't play yesterday because of an elbow injury. Dwan Jones, I guess, had to be taken in and out of the game because it was too hot to play.
Not enough shade in that stadium.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to say anything about that. I'm sensitive to that just because of the whole thing. You got to stop it, Tone, with the shade thing. It is. But, I got to. I'm not trying to. Of all the things I bust their what's for, I just want to find out some more information about that.
Yeah, Daryl, I have a little mini fan on my stroller when Mason's a little overheated. Is a little mini fan, and I charge it with a USB port. Do they have anything like that for the Browns?
I had that at Disney.
I have one of those somewhere on my desk here. I'm frantically looking for.
Congratulations on all your success.
Yeah, Liz got me a fan that attached to my belt loops, and it would blow cool air up your back when you were at Disney. When I was at Disney,
will the NFL allow that? I feel like they should.
Well, they let Steve DeBerg go out there with a speaker on his back one time. I swear to God, go look it up.
Hey, I think I remember this story.
Yeah, because he lost his voice. He lost his voice, and so they put a microphone to him and put like a speaker on his back, and that's how he was giving the signals. I swear to God. Anyway, Daryl, we've completely lost focus because we're afraid where this season's going to go.
Well, I mean, look, that went yesterday how I feared it was going to go. They ran their mouth during the week, trying to convince themselves they could hang with the Baltimore Ravens, and then they got flat out embarrassed. And as it turns out, the 11.5 or 12.5 point spread was entirely too generous. They lost 41-17. Okay, the game was competitive for a little over a half. We'll give them credit for that. But just bottom line, that was a game that Browns fan really wanted to have because Baltimore was rubbing it in how they stole our football team here.
I didn't make a big enough deal about Zaire Mitchell-Payton being named a game captain yesterday. And Lyman's like, it wasn't even that big of a celebration. They named a former, marginal piece of the Browns a game captain for today, and then tried to get him a touchdown.
Oh, yes,
That's how much disrespect they have for us right now, Daryl.
Well, how much disrespect they have for you, Ken, is that Lamar Jackson threw a 23-yard touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins with the game settled there in the fourth quarter. They rubbed the Browns' nose in it yesterday. And to a degree, the Browns deserved it because of everything that was said leading up to the game. But the Ravens are everything that Browns fan deserves to have their football team be. But this franchise, as I think you said it best, Ken, they're in a quagmire right now. Quicksand, the harder they're kicking, the deeper they sink. They don't have a quarterback, and they don't have a competitive quarterback on this roster. And when you asked me earlier if they should make the change, my response should have been, does it even matter at this point? Because they don't. They do not have a competitive quarterback on this roster right now that can help them win games consistently. That's the cold, hard math.
Daryl, was the defense good yesterday?
It was good until they got burned out. They started great, but again, this is what I'm telling you is going to happen to them this year. As long as the offense is inept and incapable of sustaining anything and putting points on the board, and that defense is going to have to keep going out there over and over and over again, this is what's going to happen. They're going to get worn down in the second half, and teams are going to pull away. That's just a reality, Ken. So, yes, they were good for a while until I think they got tired.
Yeah, Daryl, the only argument I would have is that you gave him an A+, and I'm like, man,
that was at halftime.
Yeah. The secondary makes me nervous because you've got
thin.
Denzel leaves the game at all, and now you've got guys to pick on. And look, Newsome had good moments again yesterday, and I thought he was terrific in the Cincinnati game. But it just goes to show, good NFL offenses will eventually find a weakness, and I think it's going to be tough for them, especially if they're playing from behind all year, obviously. But it's going to be really tough for them. Lamar was missing throws like crazy in the first half, that if he just is normal Lamar, I think you're down big in the second quarter.
Well, look, I think that they did a good job up front in the trenches defensively. I would have liked to see Mason Graham sustain it. He flashed early, especially in the run game, and then really didn't flash the rest of the way there. But the defense for the better part of three quarters, Anthony, gave the Browns a shot. They had a legitimate chance. It's a two-score game. If the offense could just show a pulse, can I just get a little blip on the meter there for the offense? Then, I think that would go a long way. What I am interested to see is how long the defense is going to be able to put up a brave face while this offense continues to do as little as this offense continues to do.
Daryl Ryder, brought to you by Shabin Jewelers. I talked myself into 6 wins. Well, no, I really thought they could win 6 games at the beginning of the year. And, I mean, it's only 2 weeks into
but then you got up to 8.
Look like that's going to be good. Well, this is the thing, Daryl, is I don't like to be negative.
Whoopsie daisy!
I don't like to be a bad guy. And I talked myself, because there were some people going, man, where's the usual, Super Bowl, Super Browns, this, that, and the other. And I go, well, we do say it sometimes out of cynicism. And we just weren't doing the usual pep rally thing. And there were some people go, where is that? And I'm going, I started to go, well, where is it? Let me look. And hey, I started talking myself into 8 wins. And I'm just like, man, this is dumb. This is a dumb thing to say. Because now it's a formality. It seems that the season is just a formality on our way to picking a quarterback in 2026. And you know what? I hate to scare everybody, but I see what's going on in Cincinnati. And I'm going, man, even when you do pick the quarterback, your work ain't finished. Yeah. Your work ain't finished, and that's why, Daryl, I cannot and will not give an endorsement, unless things change very quickly, of Andrew Berry staying around, because I'm going, I can't trust him with the other positions around the quarterback. Even if they do, like if they got number 1 overall and they go, you know what, Garrett Nussmeier's the guy, and it looks like he should be the guy, or whoever it should be, right? Then what am I going to do around him? Because look at the boobery that's gone on around Cincinnati. They got 2 high-priced wide receivers, or 2 in the best of the business. They got a defensive end who's the best of the business. Their offensive line is sucked out loud for the most part. That's why other than that 1 year, I really haven't taken them seriously. And now he's a quarterback who's, you would have to say, is what? Often injured? Injury prone now, you would say? I mean, he's just this generation's Glenn Cook for them.
Well, yeah, look, it would be nice if the Browns could find their Joe Burrow, because I think with the way the Browns are built at this very moment, he'd have a much better chance of success here than in Cincinnati. But here's the problem for the Browns right now. This offensive line is old. From the tackle position, it's now off injured. And there's a transition that has to take place there. Joel Bitonio might not be back. He may retire after this season, final year of his contract, right? I talked about the perimeter of the line. So Andrew Berry has to retool that. And
Daryl Zinter, a healthy scratch. Like, he's supposed to be one of the replacements.
Yeah. I know. The Andrew Berry guy. Andrew's not had a good couple of years here, and his worst work has come in the quarterback room. In the most important room on the team, Andrew Berry has done his worst work.
I should say Greg Cook. I said Glenn Cook. Glenn Cook is a person who's the assistant general manager of the Browns, not a former Bengals quarterback. My goodness. Go ahead.
Daryl, what did you think of the rookies yesterday? And they're getting a lot of high marks through 2 weeks, and I agree. It's been nice to see. Like Judkins, I'm not gonna judge him until the garbage time drive. He was averaging 3 yards a carry too. That running game just hasn't been getting going. But the fact that he even played as many snaps as he did yesterday, obviously they thought he was in good enough shape. But overall, the rookies through 2 games.
Yeah, I think that they're fine. I don't have a lot of negative things to say about the rookies. In fact, I see some bright spots. I remain a big fan of Harold Fannin Jr. Mason Graham flashed in spurts yesterday. Carson Schlesinger, you saw him moving around, and he was involved in a lot of things yesterday as well. I have to believe the impact plays are coming, because that's where you get judged in this league, is the impact plays that you're able to make. And the fact that they got Quinshawn on the field, and for the volume of snaps they had him on the field for, that was a positive sign. He's going to be, he looks like to me like he can be a 3-down back. And so that's obviously really good news. They got to keep him healthy, of course. But I'm very bullish on this rookie class. I think Andrew Berry did a good job with this class, and that these guys have the potential to help this football team win some games in years to come. It's just, I don't know that they're going to be helping the Browns win many games this year, just because, the Browns are just not a good football team.
Daryl, I want to ask you real quick because I had a tweet about the running back room and the wide receiver room, and people did not like that at all. Wide receivers on the broadcast, Ross Tucker said they just weren't getting open the entire game, and
well, that's part of the problem when your offensive line is beat up and they're old and Joe Flacco is old and doesn't have a lot of mobility to him on a consistent basis, right? Can't extend plays, can't buy additional time for these receivers to get open. Guess what that usually equals? It equals a lot of negative plays, and that's what happened yesterday. I mean, they kept pausing, and you see it's like, well, where's Joe supposed to go with the ball when there's a body on a receiver everywhere you look? So, again. They don't have, as much as I like Jerry Jeudy, he's not a number one wide receiver. He's a number two. David Njoku can be a difference maker if you get him the football. But they don't have enough difference makers offensively. And when you're in that spot, well, you get performances like you've had in the first 2 weeks of the season. I mean, that's just the cold, hard math.
Daryl, two things. I got to go quick, though, with him. One, do you believe the Shador Sanders report, and do you believe that he is in the right to not want to go to the Baltimore Ravens?
I mean, Adam Schefter isn't going to make something like that up. So
yeah, Owen.
So
never said Adam Schefter made it up.
I know he
said
did.
He was told something.
I don't know if it's true, and at this point, I don't know that it even matters. The fact that he answered reporters' questions, that's not a press conference, by the way, Lima. If a reporter or two walks up to a locker to ask, that's not a press conference. He didn't come to the podium and answer questions. Okay,
thank you.
That's not what happened yesterday. But at this point, Ken, I think it's. I mean, it's all. We could do this with all 32 teams, or when it comes to Shador Sanders. And at this point, it's inconsequential. He's here. He's I don't know. Here for decoration, and I don't know, we'll probably see him in week 17 or 18 against the Cincinnati Bengals to mop up what is going to be a long season.
Will that be before or after Deshaun Watson plays?
I do think we're going to see Deshaun Watson at some point.
I think we will, Kenny. I think we will, too.
I think we're going to see him at some point. They're going to have to make the decision. I mean, the videos are going up on a daily basis, and the inspirational of the long road traveled and this, that, and the other. I think at some point the Browns going to have to make a decision here in Week 5 as to whether or not they we're going to activate him.
No. Setbacks pave the way for comebacks.
Daryl, is Baker must-watch TV tonight?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm going to be glued to my TV.
Lima wanted me to ask you that.
And I'm rooting for him to throw for 300 yards and win the game.
What's your problem?
I actually cannot wait to watch him tonight.
He's taking on Houston. I don't like Houston. Oh, I'm in a tough spot there. Yeah, what the hell? All right, Daryl.
You don't want Baker to do well, Ken?
I know what you're doing.
I just asked the question.
No, because Keith will come flying down the hallway. Cut that and put that on the internet. Make Ken look like a jerk. Okay. Thank you very much for the time, Daryl.
Have a great week, guys. Talk to you Friday.
You too, Daryl Ryder, joining us on the fan hotline. Yeah, I guess I want to be Houston.
And
I like Houston.
Brought to you by Shavin Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry.
Oh, yeah, it's brought to you by Shavin Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Okay. Is he must watch tonight? And we always have new people listening. So I will tell you again, until June 1st, everyone has to be nice. That doesn't mean he has to play. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima on the Fan.
Anthony Lima, floors with
Catch the full episode, listen by the hour, or jump straight to the highlights.
Just open up your favorite podcast app, search our names, and hit the follow button to get every minute of the show.
Your way and on your time.
Whenever you need to talk college football, we've got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
I knew they'd find a way. He'd find a way. Everything he can do. Everything he can do. Stop laughing at me. Hey, get in here, you bastard.
Well, you're going to have to make a poll now.
See his face?
Yeah,
you guys can't see him.
Keith is trying to ignite some things behind the scenes because you asked Daryl Ryder.
Oh, he's been trying to stoke the fire all day.
Ryder.
He's been trying to stoke the fire all day with us.
All right, right before the end of the segment, you asked, is Baker Mayfield must watch? And let's be honest, it's because I told you to ask him during the break.
Yeah, I said Lyman made me, and so I asked him.
I did. So Daryl said absolutely yes. I said absolutely. Do you think it's got to be a poll? Mitch, you got to put the poll up. Is Baker Mayfield must watch tonight?
Stop laughing, Keith.
Now, if you're a Browns fan and you're disgusted by what we've seen the first 2 weeks, and they're 0-2, and it doesn't look like it's going to get much better for next week, and we're contemplating quarterback changes, we're getting head coach questions about whether he's going to survive the year, and Andrew Berry, and that seems to be the sentiment of a lot of people, even though we've got some nice play out of the rookies in the first 2 weeks. Are you tapped out on football for the weekend, or are you like, got to see Baker? Because we know we have a lot of fans that love Baker.
Obviously, they're going to watch Baker. How could you not? I'm not mad at him for what they've done now. It seems that it's easy to do this when things are going well. So it's like, yeah, he's let bygones be bygones. He's in a better spot for him.
Yeah, he seems to have gotten over all the angst. And what was happening here.
Yeah.
But then they gave him an Ohio State wide receiver, number 19 overall, Egbuka. He looked phenomenal in week 1, and Baker did not play well last week except for the touchdown passes. They were amazing. They were incredible. The way he threaded that last one in was awesome.
That's what he does.
They were great.
He's the gunslinger. The gunslinger doesn't make incredible 2nd and 4 plays.
Yeah.
The gunslinger slings guns. And that's what you're going to... It's only, magnified by everything that's happened since
You're right. Marty Robbins' song was about Big Iron. Wasn't about people who do good checkdowns.
Yeah. Going, thank you for paying your bills on time.
Yep. Wasn't that. Now the poll's up. Yeah, I'm sure he's must-watch. Why wouldn't he be must-watch? Guardians have the day off, right?
Yeah, they don't play till tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
We're just scoreboard watching.
Can you find out an overnight? Do they still do that? Can you find out an overnight rating tomorrow morning?
Ooh.
For Monday Night Football? Here?
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's 2, but the 7 o'clock window. Can you find one for me?
Yeah, it's early. It's not like it's a late game that's not going to get started.
Great. Awesome. Great.
Nice to have some football on tonight. That's all.
Is that it? Let me come out and say this. We'll get to the phones here in a second. So we always have new people listening, and I always have to be cognizant of that because I've said this several times, and I'll say it again. Everybody just needs to be nice to each other until June 1st. So they're going to be nice. So I saw the happy birthday tweet yesterday, and I'm not talking about the one of Dylan Sampson, who just turned 21 yesterday.
Yeah. Boy, compared to Flacco, it's incredible to have a quarterback that's 40 and a running back that's the youngest player in football.
Could literally be his father. Could literally be his father, yes. I'm not talking about Dylan Sampson. Happy birthday, Dylan Sampson. I'm talking about the Deshaun Watson tweet that wished him a happy birthday, and that most of the replies I can't read on the air.
Why not?
Because they're mean-spirited and nasty.
Wait, why would they be mean-spirited?
A fan account?
The Browns posted it.
No.
The Browns... Stop. The Browns posted a photo of him with happy birthday. And yes, it's
his birthday. That's what you do.
You say happy birthday to one of your employees.
Let's not be stupid. So
we're going to ignore his birthday?
Everybody... I know he's looking really good on them videos.
Him have his birthday off.
I know he's looking really good on them videos.
Here we go. He's on the comeback trail.
They ain't gonna play. He's not.
His head's up. He's looking down the field. I mean, there's no other players on the field.
He's not playing this year.
But his head is up, and he's carrying that ball.
He's not playing this year.
He's running around.
They will exhaust everything.
Making throws.
That's why he's wearing number 4.
They ain't going to play him.
Fourth quarterback.
Now, he's taking mental reps, so he is diagnosing defenses. They're not out there, but if they were, like in his mind,
are we going to do this?
He's reading the linebackers.
Are we going to do this next Monday after they lose to Green Bay? Or am I going to have to sit here and go, he's not playing this year? Now, I don't want to sound like the mother from Saturday Night Fever where he's going back to the church. Is that what it is going to be? You remember the scene? Have you seen Saturday Night Fever recently?
It's been a long time.
It's a great movie, John Travolta. But his brother, he quits being a priest, and mom's convinced he's going back to the church. And John Travolta, and him and mom getting mad and getting an argument. And then his dad, who's unemployed, somehow makes fun of him for getting a raise. It's a rough movie. It's a good movie, but he comes from a rough home. You understand what I'm saying? He ain't playing this year. They ain't gonna put him out there. Now, I don't know anything as far as, like, I've talked to so-and-so and they ain't putting him out there. No.
What makes you so confident, Ken?
Because the fans, they want people to come to the stadium.
They seem to really care what the fans think, huh?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Could have fooled me.
Okay. Yes, they do. Because you know what?
They've been giving you this product.
Because when we talk about the whole Baker thing, like, I give Lima credit because he makes people say what they mean. How many people do we know have run away from their old Baker takes back in 2022, 2021? How many people? Oh, I knew. Did you? Because I think that you were one of the people who probably erased all the things that you posted about Baker Mayfield. Now all of a sudden you knew that Baker was going to have a comeback.
I would say the great thing about the Baker discussion is that everybody has been right at one time on Baker.
Yes.
Because he's been the worst quarterback in the league, and he's been, right now, I mean, it's
one of the
weekend,
best.
but he's looking like a top 5 quarterback. And last year, he was top 10.
Actually, he kind of struggled in that game in week 1. But
he did. But
once he started, it's just that one, and all of a sudden the light comes on, and that's it. You remember the one down in Cincinnati, and the light came on, and then it was 5 touchdowns, and everything was amazing. So, no, I don't think that he is... I don't think he's the best. He's certainly far from the worst, but I'm not going to back away from what I said about the guy. I know plenty will. And again, let me be on record if you're a new listener, because I have to be on record about this all. I thought he needed to be replaced and they needed to go in another direction because this whole thing was set up for a quarterback and he wasn't ready to do it and he wasn't capable of doing it. And I really thought he showed his ass in 2021. And obviously he said he showed his ass in 2021 and he's grown on from that. Again, it's easier to do when things are going really well for you. See Johnny Manziel. I thought they needed to move on. I did not want Deshaun Watson. Ask Lima, ask Owen, go find Kenny Kidd and ask him. I did not want Deshaun Watson. I would have said he was a better quarterback at the time.
Yeah, you did say he was an upgrade over Baker.
I admitted that because you would say, Ken, you have to admit. I go, I understand, but I don't want to go through that rigmarole. No, I did not want the guy.
I'll back that up.
Thank you. I thought he had to be replaced. I didn't want him to replace him with him. But now that there is that, I don't think he's going to play this year. For us, anyway. I don't know if he's going to play for anybody else because I don't think that's a contract you can get out from under. But everybody's got to be nice. You can't be held liable for breaching of contract, and the Browns can't be held liable for putting him in a position where they can't play him if he's healthy or whatever. So I do think we'll find ourselves in a spot where either A, he will go on long-term IR and go, I'm just not ready yet. Or B, they'll say that Dylan Gabriel gives them a better chance to win this week. And then they'll go out there and say that Shador Sanders gives them a better chance this week. Or they'll go out there and say that Bailey Zappi gives them a better chance this week. And then they'll say Shador Sanders gives them a better chance this week. And if they do that, then I'm just going to walk out into the swamp and you'll never see me again. Because he better play before Bailey Zappi. But no, I don't believe that Deshaun Watson is going to be playing for the Browns this year. But I've been wrong about this team before. Do you believe he's going to play again this year?
I kind of think he is now.
Yeah.
Don't tell me these things.
Why are they doing it all?
What do you mean, why are they doing it all? He's a player on the team. They have to say happy birthday.
No, they don't. They don't have to put out the social media post.
Yes, they
He's
do.
He's not even on the active
Well,
roster.
they did take down all his signage at the stadium.
Yes, they
have to do it.
Yes, they do.
No.
Yes, they do.
Can you imagine if they put the signage back up? Like the week of him getting a start?
We don't know if he's ever going to play in the NFL again. So let's be honest about this. This can get pretty litigious at some point. Remember, who's his agent? His agent is David Mulugheta, one of the most powerful people in sports.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have a very powerful agent who's probably the most powerful in the NFL. You have the most powerful agent in the NFL who works for you. You have to remain up front, or you have to at least put on a good show of everything in front of everybody to take care of it, because you don't want it to cost you with other players. So you need to go out there and do that. And plus, I don't know if he's ever going to play in the NFL again. Like in the post-June 1st cut, if he gets cut at the end of this year or going into next summer, which I assume he will, who's picking him up? Is somebody going to pick him up? Would you pick him up?
No, I don't think so.
Would you pick him up, Owen? Would you kick the tires? No, exactly.
No.
You would.
What would be the team?
This is the team that would pick him up. This is the situation.
So they don't want to have any sort of thought that they might have blackballed him from the rest of the league or anything like that. So they're going to treat him exactly how they treat every other player that they have. And everything's going to be upfront and respectful and all that stuff until the end, until they can cut him. And once we hopefully move on, we'll all move on, and it will end amicably with those two. Now, you don't have to end amicably with the fans, because personally I don't think he likes it here, and I don't think you guys like him to be here. But that's part of the reason, the biggest reason why, if he plays, it's going to be on the road at Cincinnati or on the road at Chicago. No, I don't think it's going to be home against the Bills or Steelers. 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Tone Master General. Is it time for a change? Not about him. Tone's running around. I think he has something for you coming up in the next segment on The Fan.
you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Want to talk Browns while you're at work? Baskin and Phelps, weekdays starting at 10 on 92.3 The Fan.
I'm a part of this locker room right now. I'm on the team with those guys. And I have relationships with this city, with the guys in that locker room. But man, I'm a Cleveland Brown right now, and I'm glad to be one. And there was no this or that in terms of that, man. I love this locker room. I love the guys in that team. I'm so grateful to be where I am with those guys. Glad to go to battle with the side that I was on today.
What was Garrett Nussmeier on Saturday? Did you watch that game?
I
saw that pick six DJ Lagway through, and I went, that game is over.
He was so bad.
He's terrible. Just terrible. You know who's kind of plodding along right now? Drew Aller and the Penn State Nittany Lions. Like, that game was lopsided in the end, but it's like, man, they just exist. Like, it's like Penn State's way better, so they're going to win, and they're going to win handedly, but it's like, it's just they hit the field, and in 3.5 hours, they'll be off the field. But there's no gas. Like Ohio, like OU, give OU credit. OU, they are I made that joke like, hey, how are you going to keep them down on the farm once they've seen Carl Hungus, once they've won a couple of games, how are you going to keep them in the MAC? But it's like, yeah, they might be better than a MAC school right now. Like, they might be ready to either go on and do some other things or whatever. I hate to say it. We love the MAC. We love their offices are here.
It was hard for Ohio State, but for a long part of that game.
Yes, but OU is a quality program that can at least provide some fits.
They found their running back, right? Though found their running back.
God, yeah. The reason I bring this all up is because it's not on this roster. And so I gotta pay attention to Garrett Nussmeier and hope that somebody pulls us out of this quagmire, because right now my mentions on Twitter are nothing but people ripping about Baker Mayfield, and then I looked at the YouTube chat and it's nothing but people who wanted Shador Sanders traded to get him out of this mess. The Shador people, the Shadorians have found us, Tone.
Yeah, it makes sense.
216-474-0092. Terry in Euclid. Hello, Terry.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey. Doing okay, Terry. Go ahead.
Okay, imagine yourself above you're above the earth, and you're looking down, and for the last 6 years,
I'm
you've
in
been looking
heaven?
at the Browns draft. I ain't going to say heaven.
Oh,
I said
okay.
above the earth.
No, okay.
But you're looking at
the
the Browns
Bezos
draft
rocket.
I'm in the
last
space.
6 years.
Okay, all right.
There is no all-pro player or Pro Bowl player except for JOK in the 6 drafts. And if you look back at the first draft, I think you only got one player left from the first draft, his first ever draft.
Okay.
That's Grant Delpit. I mean, the reason why I say this is because, and I hate to say this, and I wanted to work with Andrew Berry, but he just doesn't have it when it comes to drafting.
Well,
and after 6 years of not having anybody even being a Pro Bowler except for one guy, I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, well, Terry, I tell you what, if I was on the outside looking, be like that movie Interstellar with Matt Damon, like I'd be pounding on the wall, yelling no, and trying to save us from the future there. But I had to come to the conclusion today, like the only reason I want to keep them around is because I like them as people. That's not a reason. Nice people get let go of all the time.
Think about it. Wide receivers, offensive lineman, quarterback, linebacker, Schlesinger this year. He hasn't drafted one good player in those categories.
It would feel like, and Terry, thank you very much for the call. Like, this is what it is to a Browns fan, and I think you have every right to feel this way. Is that if your rookies do come to fruition this year, you're still not going to have a great record. You didn't take that. Like, there's not a quarterback in there. There's really Isaiah Bond, kinda, but you don't have the QBs there. Like, I just don't think they can make enough of an impact. And so if you're a Browns fan, you have every right to say, I'm sorry, Andrew, it's too little too late. Because we're about to go into, you can't pass a show without mentioning Garrett Nussmeier or Lenore Sellers or Carson Beck. Now, thank goodness there's no Cade Klubnik conversation anymore. I'd like to say I was first to that. You can't have a show with that. And now I'm about to put like the most important, like, guys, enough's enough. We have to find a guy. We have to find a guy and learn from our mistakes that we made, and yes, the mistakes that we made with Baker. And that might mean that we're going to go through some ups and downs, and if we go through it again, we better make damn sure we're getting rid of the wrong guy again and not doing anything silly. We have to go through this again, and we have to get it right. Like, it feels like I'm running out of time for sanity. I feel like I'm running out of time with fans really caring, like really caring. I'm afraid we're going to become Cincinnati.
Oh, Kenny, the amount of people
really afraid.
in my neighborhood walking around in late in the second quarter with Browns gear, meaning they've started the game and already by the second quarter it was 10-0, and they're outside experiencing how nice of a day it was instead of the Browns game.
Football, and especially the Browns, are a passion here. And in Cincinnati, like, I don't know if there's definitely hardcore Bengals fans down there. Like, you got the guy who paints his face and the guy who puts the beers in his beard. But, like, I don't feel the passion. Like, I don't get the passion the way I do. Even Ravens fans are passionate. Steelers fans are passionate. I don't feel the passion. That's why I don't pay that close of attention to them. Because I don't feel the heat the way I do with other fan bases. Doing this. And I'm afraid that if we go through this again and it doesn't work again, we're going to start to get closer and closer to being Cincinnati. And I don't want to do that. I want people to have passion. So we have to get this right. And no, it's September 15th. Put me on a polygraph. I can't tell you I trust Andrew Berry to make that decision to pull us out of this. I'm sorry. I like the guy. But the decisions with the wide receivers that are drafted, even the one that's traded. I mean, we'll see how Jerry Jeudy works out by the end of the year. I'm already getting a little bit nervous about that. The situation with the other positions, it just might be like, hey, you got us Carson Schlesinger, you got us Mason Graham. That's really, really nice. Quinshon Judkins hopefully ends up having a nice season, and so does Dylan Sampson. But it's too little, too late. I can't trust you with the biggest decision in this frame. This team's getting ready to go to a dome. This team's getting ready to play in a totally different part of town, with a totally different atmosphere. I can't do it. Like, this is a monumental decision they're about to make in April. What a way to end the show. What a positive way to outlooking the rest of the show. Thank you very much for joining us today. Tone, wonderful.
I still just can't believe they're not going to reverse the outcome of that Denver Broncos-Colts game. The league clearly got it wrong. Can't they just go in and award the game to the other team?
No.
Why not?
Because it's pro football.
What does that mean? They got it wrong. There's no penalty
They call it
on the play.
It's called pro football.
I would rather talk about that ending than most of what we talked about today.
Well, you know what? Thank goodness there's a show tomorrow. And we can talk about it. For Big Country, for Jeff, for Mitch, for Daryl. Daryl's great. We're back tomorrow, 6 to 10. John Greco going to join us. Might have somebody else joining us. Might be belt to ass time. It's coming up tomorrow.
My elementary principal's coming.
Did you get beat with a belt by your elementary? We were not that generation.
Frank Adams.
Wow. They were doing that in Oklahoma? Did you deserve it?
No.
You didn't deserve it? Talk about that. We'll talk belts to asses tomorrow. For Big Country, for Jeff, for Mitch, for the Slippery Wizard Anthony Lima, for Owen's passed away principal, I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Or try to have a wonderful day, my friends. Take care.
Hey, sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Tampa Bay journeys to Houston for the opener of tonight's NFL